I said that it looks like we're in $1 million studio, but we're really in a crappy garage. We're sick of politicians. We're sick of politicians playing politics.
Right.
I had a knife pulled on me 10 years ago, just between Columbia One Stop and 18th Street, because some dude was about to beat up a homeless person. I was like, hey, bro, maybe don't do that. And like this dude pulled out a switchblade and starts walking at me. And it's just like,
what do you do? When you're controlled by fear, in my opinion, fear holds you back from everything. Fear makes you not want to take risks.
drugs are just bad.
Drugs are terrible,
Drugs are
guys.
awful.
Do not do them.
For real, don't do drugs.
Let's make the world a little bit better place. That's all we can do, right?
We're rolling.
Well, yeah. Are we wrong? Teddy, shout out to my landlord, because she was actually, or her son was watching the podcast, and on the first show, I said, on the first podcast, I said that it looks like we're in $1 million studio, but we're really in a crappy garage. And the son wasn't too happy, and the son texted the mom. So I am so sorry that I said that, and I want to tell you, I love the house. I love the garage. It's an amazing garage.
Hey, the garage is great.
I say those like self-depreciating jokes. You know what I mean? Like I like to do that to add it's my humor, you know. So
right.
But I'm sorry if I offended you, for real though. But today we are joined by two incredible people. One co-host, Brody Mangini. Brody, you want to say hi?
How we doing?
He's doing great. He's doing great. He's got the Ford racing, looking beautiful.
Ford.
And now we are joined by a very special guest. Very special guest. I got a little intro for him.
Oh, man, there's an intro.
We are joined by an expert of Michigan politics, an expert of West Michigan politics, a man that has his very own show, Lo-Fi the Political Guy. You can find him on TikTok, on Rumble, on
TikTok, Rumble, YouTube,
Instagram.
I do. The TikTok's still small. I haven't done a whole lot with it. But yeah, Rumble, Instagram, X, so twitter.com.
Shout out.
That's where it's at right there, guys. If you want any kind of political discourse, whether you're on the left or the right, that is the place to be. That's where conversations are actually happening.
Check him out. Make sure you check him out. Steve is also a man who inspired me to start my own podcast and show, whatever you want to call it. So thank you for inspiring me.
You're welcome.
And today we are going to dive in to Michigan politics, dive in to local issues and the stories that are shaping West Michigan today.
Let's go, dude.
This is a beautiful show. Beautiful. Thank you for being here, by the way.
Oh, of course.
Thank you guys both.
Yeah, no problem.
This is incredibly fun for all of us. It's fun for me. Like super new.
Yeah.
Super new stuff. So
yeah, it's cool watching you grow and do what you're doing.
Yeah.
Super nice.
Thank you. No, we're getting better we're still only at one camera, because you see that like board thingy.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be able to do like multiple cameras, hook them up, but I've only gotten one to connect. So
I didn't know you only had one camera. I assumed you had multiples when I was watching the show, because it like moves around and stuff. So that's pretty cool.
I do. I do the. I just copy and paste and then crop it, so it looks like we have
nice. Ain't nothing wrong with that if it works.
Yeah. Well, it's Final Cut multicam. Just copy and paste and then crop it.
It works.
But
we used phones on my episode, dude. That worked great too.
Phones aren't bad. There are movies that have been shot on the iPhone 15 and the iPhone 16.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're like the quality coming off of the new iPhones and their cameras. Is like blowing like GoPro and everything else out of the water. Like. It's like a thought that's crossed my mind for our podcast, but we're just not there yet.
Straight phones. Yeah.
So, Steve, what is your perspective? What is your take on Michigan politics as it stands today? Because we have a Democratic legislature. The Senate in particular has 20 Democrats and one Republican. The House is controlled by the Democratic Party as well. And obviously Gretchen Whitmer is a Democratic governor. So what is your take on the current Michigan political landscape?
From what I understand, and I'll get more information come the 20th. I've got Congressman Luke Meerman coming on the 20th. Nice. But I'll have more perspective then. From what I understand, the Democrats have lost control of the House. and it's now controlled by the Republicans in Michigan.
Okay.
So we've been sitting through what's called a lame duck session in Michigan, which basically means it's not a one-party control anymore, so it's going to be tough for anybody to get anything done after whenever confirmation for everybody happens. I'm not sure what that date is here in Michigan yet. Yep. But basically, once the new Congress comes in, it's going to put a stop to a lot of the policies that have been being pushed through from the Democratic Party here in Michigan. So they've actually been ramming a bunch of stuff through. There was like a gun bill they pushed through. So I think it has to do with like red flag laws and storage, but I could be mistaken on that. I haven't got the full details on that one yet. Some stuff with parenting and kids. There's been a few different things they've been pushing through where it's like, because they know they can't get it passed.
Yeah.
Right.
After January, they're up the creek. They can't get it passed. So it's concerning that for me that even that a government would do that or politicians would do that, because typically politicians operate off of a mandate. You know, you voted for a thing, and like you as in the people voted for a thing. The politicians are supposed to represent that. Well, what we found out in Michigan is the people were tired of a Democrat-controlled Congress, so they voted for a Republican-controlled Congress. So in an effort to curtail that, politicians from one party decided they were going to ram a bunch of bills through over the course of Christmas break and force everybody to just deal with it. And they didn't go through like any committee processes where congressmen could review it. They didn't release these bills for people to be able to review. So like typically when a bill gets released, it'll go up online. And if you know where to look for it, you can find it and read it yourself to decide whether you agree with what's in it or not.
Where do you look for it?
mi.gov, I think, is where you go for it.
mi.gov. Okay.
I think, and I could be wrong. Rachel Atwood, I'm sure will comment if she sees this and tell everybody exactly where to go. She is a what is Rachel? She's like a
shout out Rachel.
Yeah, no, she's awesome. She's not a secretary, but she's like a staffer for one of the congressmen here in Michigan, and so she's really deep into it. So respectfully, not an expert. I'm still learning Michigan politics and getting.
He says he's. You know the people you've had on your show.
I've had some people on there.
You've had so many experts that you become an expert.
That's
you
true.
know what I mean?
Well, hopefully we keep having him on. We're going to see. We got Luke Meerman. He's going to come on. So he's congressman for Ottawa County. He's going to come on the 20th. Fingers crossed. We're going to get.
Wait, congressman?
Yeah, like state level congressman.
Okay.
So he's going to be coming on the 20th. Fingers crossed we're going to get Roger Victory. So he's a state level senator for our area. Fingers crossed we're going to get him on soon too. I know Luke's trying to put in the word, so we'll see if we can get it. The guy who runs a lot of the Michigan GOP stuff is a brother at my lodge. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm going to get to know him. He's up north, and he hasn't been to lodge since I started attending. Wow. But I know that he's a member based on like what some of my other lodge brothers have said. So fingers crossed I'll get connected with him at some point too.
I want to talk about Senator Roger Victory.
Oh, you know him?
No.
Oh, okay.
I've tried to get to know him multiple times.
Oh, okay.
Multiple phone calls.
What happened with that?
I actually am a unpaid, not an employee, but I work for, not an employee, but I work for, legally I can't be an employee.
Oh, okay.
It was a big thing. But the Senate Republican leader, Eric Nesbitt.
I've heard the name, but I don't know much about him.
He's right below us, District 20. He represents South Haven,
nice.
That area, Benton Harbor. But I've tried to get in touch with Senator Roger Victory because I'm running for his position.
Oh, you're running for his position.
I'm running for his position because he's term limited.
Oh,
so he's out. He's out, and I'm running for his position. So obviously, I want to get to know him.
Yeah.
But he hasn't returned any of my phone calls.
Well, if I can get him on the show, we'll see. I'll see if I can get him to talk to you. Yeah. Luke seems to think he can get a meet up between us, but we'll see until all that happens. A lot of this stuff we just kind of wing it. So I know you're like, you have experts on, but it's like we're trying to get where we're scheduled out a month. That's the goal, is to be a month ahead on all the things we do. So like right now we're scheduled for next Monday. We're scheduled for the 20th. We had Doug Zylstra scheduled for the 30th, but he's flaked on me for the second time now. It is, yeah. And so it's like I'm almost like getting to the point now where I want to try to like shoot for multiple guests on a show, unless there's a reason to only have one. Right. So that way, if somebody backs out, I've always got someone that could just like fill in the space.
Well, if anyone out there wants to start a podcast or is thinking about starting a podcast, that's how you should do it. You should schedule them out in advance. We're not even scheduled out one day, so so we just take it one day at a time. But if you're thinking about starting a podcast, do it this way because that's how you'll stay consistent.
Consistency is key, and it shows in the numbers. So we grow every live stream. We've been stair stepping upwards. So you can't always expect like instant growth. It doesn't work that way. But on X, we've seen a nice stair step upwards as things have gone on.
Yeah.
You know, now we're getting to the point where we might have 20 or 30 people that are waiting right at the start of a show on X to watch it kick off.
Okay.
And then YouTube 3 or 4, Rumble will be 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So, pardon me.
You good.
But yeah, so it stair steps upwards. But that consistency is clutch. And then something that I'm finding and having to learn is trying to get myself to shut up because sometimes I want to dominate a conversation. And when I have a guest on, I've got to just like, okay,
listen to them.
let them talk, and just go. And so it works well. As I'm getting better at that, I think the conversations flow a little bit better.
I'm going to bounce off that because when I was on your show, I noticed that and I was like, wait. And I was like trying to fight back a little bit. I was getting like combative. But when I started this podcast, I realized I did the same exact
It's hard not
thing.
to.
It is so hard because you're thinking about the audience and you're like, yo, these viewers are bouncing off. They're on a different subject. So, and that's something I'm trying to work on now too. So I can feel you. I hear you on that one.
Yeah, it can be tough. It's easier. Some guests, it's easier than others. So Salim Al-Shatel, who is challenger in the Democratic Party to Hillary Scholten, he was on the show all the time when he was still running. He's in Vietnam right now, so he's traveling the world at the moment. So hopefully we'll get him back in the studio when he comes back. He says he will give us a whole report on what he was doing. But it's...
I've been watching his story, so I hope he fills us in.
Oh, you've been watching it? Is it on Instagram?
Yep.
Oh, I'm going to need to follow him.
He posts everything on Instagram.
I haven't been following him on
Just
Instagram.
his stories, so they all disappear. So
Oh,
if
man.
you're not watching them, then they're gone.
I'm gonna have to check that out. It didn't even occur to me to follow on there because I follow him on X and on TikTok, and I didn't even think about Instagram. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do that. But with him, it can be really easy because like when I brought him on the first time, I wanted him to get elected. Like my goal was to like take Hillary Scholten's seat away from her because she voted to ban TikTok. So I was doing whatever I could to be a thorn in her foot.
Right.
So it's like, okay, Salim, I need to let him talk, and then we can push back with each other and go from there.
Speaking about TikTok, what the heck is going on with that?
Oh man, so
What is going on with the ban?
It went in front of the Supreme Court, so it's been in front of the Supreme Court. I think they are ruling against giving them more time, so we're going to see. Trump's talking about saving it. I don't think Trump can save it. So that's one thing like you don't hear the news really talk about. Trump's, and I voted for Trump, but Trump says he's going to do lots of things that he may not necessarily be able to do.
On his very first TikTok, he said, "I'm going to save TikTok."
Yeah, and I don't think he doesn't have the legal authority to save TikTok. So the Congress and Senate passed and signed a bill that was then signed by Joe Biden. Okay, so if they want to undo that bill, Congress and Senate is going to need to pass a bill to undo it, and then he's going to need to sign it. I don't think he can just executive order this thing away. Yeah. So there's some real stuff that's happened here that I don't think he's going to be able to, and I don't know if TikTok is going to survive past the 20th.
The Supreme Court, he has the Supreme Court.
He doesn't have the Supreme Court. He nominated some people in the Supreme Court. Yeah. But the Supreme Court doesn't appear to be budging on TikTok. From what I understand, just the brief news glimpses I was able to get yesterday of it, they seem to be upholding the bill because it's not a First Amendment issue. The reason TikTok is being banned has nothing to do with the First Amendment. It has to do with the Chinese Communist Party basically controlling the algorithm that's being fed out to our children and then having their fingers on the personal data of every American who uses that app. I mean, if you read like what you allow TikTok to do when you install that on your phone, it can go through your photos, it can go through your videos, it can turn your mic on, it can turn your video on, and like, but when you get into the fine print, you would expect a video sharing app. It's got to be able to turn your mic on, it's got to be able to turn your camera on, but it's not only when you use it that turns on. When you start reading into the fine print, it is, we can turn it on whenever we want. Yeah. So like when you're scrolling TikTok, it is looking at your face. So if you see something, you see something and your pupils dilate. Dilation usually shows excitement. It knows that excited you. And then if you were to interact with it for a longer period of time than a shorter period of time, now it knows whatever excited you has held your attention. And then if your pupils dilate and you swipe, it knows you didn't like what that is, and it can start feeding that algorithm to you like that. And just imagine, when you start factoring in things like Pavlov's bell, Pavlov's bell.
Yo, that's freaky.
Yeah, dude, that's not.
You're familiar with Pavlov?
No, what's that?
So Pavlov, I believe, was like a psychologist or not a therapist. I think he was a psychologist. But basically, what he figured out was that if you rung a bell, okay, before you fed a dog, eventually the dog's mouth would start watering just from ringing the bell. So it's a way. It's a way to mentally condition, a thinking being into doing a thing. So now you factor that into TikTok, how dangerous that app can actually become. There's very real concerns with TikTok. There absolutely are. But banning it was probably not the direction to go.
Right.
So for those of you who are probably wondering, like, TikTok, wait, I use TikTok every day. I love TikTok.
Yeah, I use it.
It's so the owner of TikTok is a company called ByteDance, and they're a
Yes.
Chinese-based company.
Yep.
And China is a communist party, and it's a very strong matter of U.S. national security when all of these, China has access to our, national security, because with AI and with all these features like you were talking about, they know exactly what Americans are thinking.
Not just that, you can manipulate Americans into thinking what you want.
Oh, exactly.
Well, they cut off, they restricted. This was actually just news a couple days ago. We found out that China was directly influencing TikTok to make sure no bad news was spread about China on TikTok, on their app.
Yep.
So I think it's incredibly important that we all know the dangers of TikTok and know why it's being banned. I haven't posted once on TikTok in a long time.
So
I've been waiting. TikTok has been up this whole time. It's been up this entire time.
Yeah.
And then, so I've been posting on Instagram. I haven't even posted on TikTok.
you
And I
gotta
have followers on TikTok.
You got to do TikTok, dude.
You
Well,
do,
it's getting banned. So I was like, why would I even do
What's
that?
the time investment? Is it worth it at this point if it's going to get banned?
Yeah, right. I see what you mean.
They've been talking about it getting banned for the past 3 years.
Yeah, but this time there's actually
it's like-
legislation.
right.
That's the big difference. They talked about it back then, and even Trump talked about it in 2020, and everyone crawled up his butt about it, and because he wanted to ban it. Now he's on the flip side where he doesn't want to ban it, but they've been talking about it for a while. The issue is, from my perspective, if you think Facebook is not selling your personal information to China, I have a bridge that I can sell you in New York. If you think Facebook isn't selling it, if you think YouTube's not selling it, and if you think, I don't know if X is anymore. I'm sure Twitter was. But if you think these social media companies aren't selling your data, there's a whole other conversation that's got to be had right there. So I look at it from this perspective. I've experienced shadow banning on Facebook before. I've absolutely experienced it. I still experience it today.
Right.
I will post things and people won't even know that I posted it. And that's just the way it is on Facebook. And it's all because
I love you, Facebook.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would like Facebook to be successful.
Right.
And I think Mark Zuckerberg is maybe making a turn in the right direction. We will see.
Yeah.
But, back then when it happened, it was because I was in support of Occupy Wall Street. So I was in support of a left-wing position back then. And Facebook did not support that, and I caught a shadow ban over it. Now, being in support of true Occupy Wall Street is considered a right-wing position. So we'll see how that all factors out.
True Occupy Wall Street.
So Occupy Wall Street, are you familiar with it?
No.
Oh man. Oh yeah, you guys are young. You guys would have been just out of diapers when this happened. So this was 2012.
okay.
Not just out of diapers. That's a bit exaggerating. But it was 2011, 2012 is when this was going on. So in 2011, basically there was this thing that got passed where governments, I'm trying to think how to explain it now. Basically, corporations were dumping money into politicians through super PACs and stuff, dumping money into politicians, and they were getting around the rule where you could only donate so much as an individual to any political party, but you can donate to a super PAC as much as you want. And a super PAC, so there might be a super PAC for Trump or Biden, and they're not affiliated with Trump or Biden, but they will make ads exclusively in support of one candidate or another. Yeah. And since you're not donating to that candidate, you're donating to a super PAC.
Okay.
You can donate as much as you want. It's a really shitty way to go about it because, it allows big money to basically rule an election.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that was going on is we were just coming out of the financial collapse of the housing market and the automobile market that was going on. So that was in 2008. That whole bubble had popped. And so people were pissed. Sorry, people were mad.
You good. You're pissed is, yeah, you're
Okay.
you're fine. You're fine.
People were not very happy with the banks, with the politicians, because it wasn't just it wasn't just Republicans or Democrats. You know what I mean? That voted to bail out these banks. It was both. They both did it. Barack Obama signed it. George Bush helped put us in the position to begin with when he was deregulating the banks. Bill Clinton helped put us in this position. So people were salty. And so the people were united around the idea that, hey, maybe the banks and these investment firms shouldn't be able to just dump money into our politics anymore.
Right.
Hey, maybe the bank that runs our nation shouldn't exist anymore. People were having these conversations on the left and the right, and it was a big deal because if you upend the banking institutions, it screws with a lot of things at that point, and a lot of very powerful people don't want that to change. Mm-hmm. And so that's a great way to get yourself on a shadow ban list back then, was talking about that. Now it's different. You can talk about it and you're not going to end up on a shadow ban list because the politics have shifted.
Okay.
But back then, they were terrified of that, and there was a lot of pressure on Facebook, whether Zuck will admit it or not, to not let people do that. And if you ever get a chance, Google Tim Pool. He became famous because he was live streaming Occupy Wall Street.
Yeah.
And he has a whole media empire now because of just started with just that one single thing. And it's all built off of the idea of free speech, free association, government that's actually ran by the people, and we're just not there right now. And so there's a lot to say on that as to what Occupy Wall Street was and what it is now. Occupy Wall Street now is just like a husk of what it was. It's controlled and operated by the left wing or the Democrats, when it used to be a very for the youth anyways, because I was just a little older than you guys then.
Yeah. Okay.
It was more of a centrist idea. People were coming together on this, not fighting with each other.
Yeah.
So,
well, you talked about Occupy Wall Street, and we were both probably a little too young, but I'm going to do more research on that because I'm not prepared to ask any questions about it right now. But you talked about Mark Zuckerberg, and I just kind of wanted to say, his journey is remarkable because he got into Harvard. He went to Harvard, dropped out his freshman year.
Yep.
Started this company, Facebook, and it was like a Tinder back then.
Yeah, something like that.
It was
very much like a Tinder when I was in college.
It was their version of Tinder. And then it turned into what it is today with Meta. Shout out Meta. I use the Meta Business Suite all the time. Incredible
I'll have to check
platform.
it out.
The Meta Business Suite. It is amazing for all creators.
Okay.
And then also just talking about Mark Zuckerberg. He's posted a lot of stories and things about just motivation. Actually, he hasn't, but people clip interviews of Mark Zuckerberg. Incredibly inspirational person.
Okay.
Person in general. He is a billionaire, but he's just such an inspirational person.
Yeah.
I watched one clip of him, and he said, for all people, whether you're in the youth, whether you're in, whether you're old, the biggest risk of your life is if you don't take any risks at all.
This is true.
I was watching this, and I was like, my pupils got dilated, just like you were saying. And so then I get more videos of Mark Zuckerberg, and he is just a talking wisdom machine.
No.
Literally, shout out Mark Zuckerberg. You are doing incredible things.
Yeah, you definitely got to offset my stance on that.
Wait, what?
I said you definitely got to offset my stance on that.
Well, no, he's just an inspirational person in general.
No, he is. He's done a lot with a little. So
yeah, he's such a great guy.
How do you feel about Mark?
Mark Zuckerberg?
Yeah.
I don't know. I like Elon Musk quite a bit more. So there's that.
Well,
Yeah.
we haven't met either of them, so
True. I only know what the perception of everything has been. So I don't care how he got Facebook, because I know there was controversy with that. I could care less about that.
Right.
Shit happens. It is what it is, But some of the things that happened at Facebook make me extremely wary of the Zuck. There's the Cambridge Analytica study that happened, and that's something that's worth looking into if you guys get a chance. Where basically the book app was feeding people intentional stories to cause them to be happy or sad or an intentional emotion.
Okay.
And then overly feeding that to them.
Yeah.
And then looking at their phone and watching what they were doing afterwards. And so they were running straight up psychological experiments on people.
But every social media company does that, right?
I don't think everyone does. He got sued and lost over it. So no, I don't think if it's happening, people are better at hiding.
TikTok definitely does.
Yeah,
Yes.
TikTok.
I would agree that TikTok probably does that. But he got sued and lost. So if he did it, he was at least the dumbest one doing it because he managed to get caught doing it.
Well, he's the only American doing it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They can't do anything to TikTok.
And I don't know if Jack Dorsey was doing it.
Well, they are now. They're trying to ban it.
Because Dorsey used to own Twitter. Jack Dorsey used to be the owner of Twitter before Elon Musk. So I don't know if he was doing anything like that. Although I've got my qualms with Dorsey too. I don't like Jack Dorsey. I don't think he's a good person.
Yeah.
But my issues have been with the censorship, doing that stuff, and then the manipulating of people. I think it's.
But like that's never gonna with AI nowadays. That's never gonna change unless the government, puts a fight up and says this is not allowed.
I think
because back then everyone was doing it. Everyone was doing it.
Oh yeah, but it's a nasty thing to do to people, and when they don't know about it, and then you're profiting off of those people's emotional turmoil.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of that.
That's terrible.
And then I remember telling people hey, something's wrong with my account. I'm not seeing my posts aren't showing up back in 2011, 2012, right. And people would say I was crazy. I remember very specifically my dad being like, Steve, nobody's censoring you, Steven. Mm-hmm. No one's censoring you. Yeah. And it's then we find out later that there were shadow bans, and they went back to before that where they were doing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the shadow bans are super old.
I'm getting a call. Can I answer this on? Can I answer this on the show?
Answer it.
I don't know whoever was calling.
Run it. Who is it?
Well, he just called me. Missed the call.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to talk. I don't want to go too far. He declined it. I don't know what happened. I don't want to go far. Because anything bad about. Oh, he's calling me. Here we go. I just got a call. Yo, Michael, what's going on, bro? Hey, we're live. We're live right now. Do you want to say what's up? The camera's right there. Do you want to say what's up?
Hell yeah! What's going on, y'all? Kevin Maas TV.
Wait, should they follow and subscribe and comment wherever they're watching it?
Of course.
Let's go. What else should they do, Michael?
Vote Kevin Maas.
Vote Kevin Maas 2026 State Senate District 31. Let's go. Hey, we got to get you on here, bro.
Dude, I'm with it, bro. Let's do it whenever.
All right, he's with it. You guys will see him soon. Michael, good to see you, bro. I'll catch you later.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well,
oh, it did?
It did.
Let's go.
It
Okay.
great.
I'm not even gonna. Yeah, but let's move off that last topic. So, obviously, the viewers are watching this, and they can probably see for themselves that you are incredibly invested in Michigan politics.
I am.
You've had a lot of them on your show, you're very versed and well-knowledged about most of the topics. So, I think we're all wondering, what made you so interested in Michigan politics?
Well, I grew up in Michigan. I spent the last couple of years of high school, my college years here. My best friends live in the state. I love it. Even when I was a kid, I was born in Michigan, and I spent the first 5 or 6 years of my life here. Family moved us down to Kentucky when I was a kid. I always wanted to move back. I love the snow sports, all that. And so it's not just that Michigan politics, because I love Michigan. Of course I'm going to be invested in what's going on here, but this is where I live. So if I want to have a change in the world and I want to make things better, what my perception of better is, well, I got to go do something about it. And I have a TikTok social media platform.
Yo, don't shadow ban him.
No, I've got
Instagram, Facebook. You guys are doing incredible things.
Oh, definitely. And so, I've got these social media footprints that I've built up that, I'm some monetized on some of them, so it's well, what can I do in this world? Well, it started off with I want to help Salim. Let's help Salim get elected, and I wanted to do that. But even if I was in Kentucky, my goal was to do very similar things. So in Kentucky, the whole reason I built up my TikTok was so that I could run for Congress. That was my goal, was to run for Congress and use my TikTok as a way to get my foot in the door. I saw how Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Democratic Congresswoman from, I forget which state now, Brooklyn? No, Brooklyn's not a state, that's a city. Wherever Brooklyn's at. New York, yeah. So she's a Democratic Congresswoman, and she won through a strong social media game. She challenged an unchallenged incumbent in the Democratic Party, beat him in the primaries, won by default. So it's okay, there's some logic here to this. And even Donald Trump won in the primaries. So in 2016, everyone said, oh, this guy can't win. This guy can't win. He's an oaf. He's an asshole. He's this, he's that. And he walked in there and just like a bull in a china China shop, made fun of Jeb Bush, made fun of Rand Paul, made fun of everybody, made fun of Rosie O'Donnell, for God's sakes. Like, just like struck a nerve with the American people to the point he won in the primaries. Once he won in the primaries, he walked his way right into the White House. So it's like, okay, there is some real logic to this. Social media is the way forward. Pardon me. There's no way I'm going to get the, at least back then, in my opinion, there's no way I'm going to get the Republican Party to back me or the Democratic Party. So, but if I come in with a social media game, back then, if I come in with a social media game against Andy Barr, who is the congressperson from my district in Kentucky, he's got a very small presence on X. Everybody hates him in the district. He only wins because people vote line Republican. So if I go in there and I got a social media and I gear it all towards specifically that district in Kentucky, because you can do that with TikTok. You can very much make it point towards a region, and it'll show all your videos just to that region.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same with Facebook. So, a lot of them have some pretty good tools to like pinpoint who you're targeting.
So like even on TikTok right now, probably 30% of my followers all from Kentucky because like I geared it that way.
Okay.
And so like you build up that presence, and then I go and I'm going to go do something about it. Because like Andy Barr, like he was voting like. His stance on like illegal immigration, like he would dance around the subject. So like in Kentucky, there's a lot of horse farms, and so the horse farms will employ. They'll call them migrant workers, but they're not. They're employed all year round, and they're here illegally.
Oh,
and he was like, as a Republican, actively defending this. And it's like, why are those jobs not going to American citizens? These horse farmers are straight up millionaires and billionaires, and I don't mean like like a couple million. I mean literal millionaires. If you see these farms these guys have down in Kentucky, we're talking 500 acres of land right in the heart of Kentucky outside of Lexington. Land that's worth in the hundreds of millions and sometimes billions of dollars.
Do you think some of that's like passed down though?
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Okay.
I'm sure it is. But these horses are bought and traded amongst the very elite of the world.
Are these the race horses?
Like playing cards. That's what these are all done down there. And so like he's talking about like backing this stuff up. He voted against the drug war, or voted in favor of the drug war. So in general, as a whole, voted to keep marijuana illegal in Kentucky. Like he's very much pro-prohibition. With China, speaking of TikTok and China's got these Uyghur concentration camps that are going on over there, where they're basically like taking people who are Muslims, sticking them in a camp, and then making them work in a labor camp, like 1940s Germany-esque.
Really?
Yeah, it's really bad what's going on over there. And so some politicians from the Democratic Party put together a bill that would basically force businesses like Disney, tobacco companies, electronics companies, anybody who is profiting off of these Uyghur concentration camps, they would have to disclose that in public disclosures. And he voted against that. And it's like, as an American, like, I don't care whether you're Democrat or Republican. I would think everybody can agree maybe we shouldn't have these people making our products. This is kind of twisted.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, because of the price of that labor, it undercuts American products and goods and services too. And Andy Barr was voting in favor of, or voting against that kind of a disclosure.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, where it's just like, bro, you don't represent the American people. You don't represent Kentucky. I mean, even that district in Kentucky is very much, even though it's a Bible area, they want the drug war ended. They're okay with gay marriage. They're okay with a lot of Democratic policies, but because people just vote line red because that's what their daddy did, they vote for jerks like this in there who keep making things actively worse. So it's like, okay, I'll register as a Republican, and I'll go try and run against this guy, and fingers crossed, win. Well, now I'm in Michigan, so I might as well do that. I might as well do that in Michigan now.
Yeah. Shout out Michigan, but also shout out Instagram. I want to give another quick shout out to Instagram because I just got a buzz on my phone. Checked it. Someone, another person placed an order. So on our Instagram shop, TUEBOR Show, at TUEBOR Show, we have a beautiful shop with the #1 merch in the world. This is also a great time to do an intro because I haven't done an intro yet. Welcome back to TUEBOR, the #1 show in the world. We got voted #1 on multiple different platforms.
All right.
#1 show in the world. The votes were from my account. So it was my account saying,
okay.
but
It's
hey,
okay. It's like
we got
the
voted.
government.
We got voted.
So,
You got voted #1. That's all right. I mean, I'm glad to be on the #1 show in the world.
If you say you have the #1 show in the world, I have no problem with that. I just say it. You know,
I know you got
He's trying to manifest.
I know I enjoy it. I'm not offended. It's funny.
I just speak things into existence. And that also, I want to spin back to your point.
Mm-hmm.
You were talking about getting the backing from the Republican Party. Mm-hmm. I would me 5 years ago would think that I'm not going to get the backing from the Republican Party. Me today is thinking I am going to get the backing from the Republican Party because I'm going to get it. And I'm going to get it, and I'm going to speak it into existence. And by saying that, I'm going to try hard as I can to let them know the person I am and the human I am inside. That's the reason we're doing this. And I also wanted to tell all of you guys that, I'm in it for the right reasons. Yeah. I'm in it for West Michigan reasons in particular. We have beaches, Holland State Park, Grand Haven State Park, drownings every single year. Yep. And it's unacceptable. The townships and the counties they have their hands tied behind their back. These state parks are in their jurisdictions, but none of them can put lifeguards.
I was actually just going to say, you go to California, they've got the towers. Yeah. There's lifeguards all over the place, and you would think we would want something like that here, so maybe people quit drowning. I mean, I genuinely, I hate taxes with a fiery passion. But if somebody said, "Hey, we need a penny from every paycheck you make," because it might amount to a penny or two. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. When you factor in the sheer population of the area, we need several pennies from every paycheck. Okay, what's it for? For a lifeguard, so if people aren't drowning at the beach, sure, I can be on board with that. I want to see an accounting of it. I want to know that my taxes are going towards that. Right. But I could get on board with that, just like I'm on board with the library, just like I'm on board with like fixing the streets. You know what I mean? Like, you would think people would be invested in.
Do people even go to libraries anymore?
I do. I take my kids there. I take them to the library.
Really? Mm-hmm. I never went to the library. Because I was a phone type of kid. Anything you want to know, you can look at your phone. That, and nowadays, like literally anything you want to know in the entire world, whatever book you want to get info from in the entire world, ChatGPT. Boom, you got the answer in 5 minutes.
But it's also
a millisecond.
The library is like a good study area, because it's quiet.
Go in your room.
It's more than just books, though. There's classes. You can rent equipment.
Yep.
Shout out libraries. I love you guys. You guys are doing incredible things.
There's a lot of research.
I never used the resources.
There's a lot.
I don't quite get it, but
sorry.
She's always telling me why it's so good.
I worked in the middle school library in high school.
Oh, really?
Sorry, not in high school, middle school. I worked in the middle school library as an elective for 2 years. I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
I feel like a scumbag. Shout out libraries.
No, you're not a scumbag.
I don't hate anyone that goes to libraries or any librarians. I'm sure you guys are great people.
Some of the librarians are the best.
Dude, I still remember my elementary school librarian.
Really?
Yep.
That's good.
Mrs. Halwerda. Shout out Mrs. Halwerda. She don't remember any stories or anything, but I was pretty young.
Were you one of those Guinness World Record book type of guys? Yeah.
I was.
Yeah.
What was your favorite record?
Dude, I don't even know.
Well, what think of one. There was one in like the most amount of people at a beach, and it was like this beach. There was a concert there, so it doesn't really count, but the entire beach was like filled with people.
I would get claustrophobic in that. I wouldn't be able to do it. That's too many people.
No, dude. I'm a people person, but
you need your space.
You know what? I think this is a good thing for a lot of listeners to know. You don't need your space, but it's okay to be alone.
Right.
This is a hot take, but I truly believe that success is a lonely journey.
It can be,
because
definitely.
You're not gonna get 30 hours of editing done if you're with a single other person. You're gonna get that done if you're at home, locked yourself in a room, and grinding for 30 hours straight. That's the only way you'll get it done. Every single, I've heard a lot of great mentors say that to me in general, but that's really spinning back to your topic about what's your favorite Guinness World Record, Brody?
Probably the fastest cup stacking.
What was the record? Who was it?
I don't know. I feel like it changes every year.
You know what records really bother me?
What?
Guinness World Records? Those ones where it's like the longest knife stuck down your throat?
Your throat? Yeah.
What? Why? First of all, what are these people doing? Second of all, why is this book promoting it? Third of all, what is our world turned into? Why is this? And then these guys are getting famous off of it. I don't understand that.
Longest toenails?
Yes, dude. Yeah, that's
longest toenails.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, those things are nasty.
They're basically hooves.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it should be like ranking the podcast like #1 show in the world. They put a picture of TUEBOR, like best, or ranking the, or putting #1 political guy. They put Lo-Fi the political guy. It should be like guy with the most drip, the drippiest person. And then they put Brody with the Ford
means.
Racing. Can you describe to us your jacket to the
Can you
viewers
explain
watching?
what drip means first
Drip?
before we go any
Drip
further?
is like style.
Drip?
Okay.
Yeah,
Most
drip.
people, when they think of drip, they think of like, if you were to pour your water,
Yeah,
it would drip, right? That's
Right.
what
So is it
most
like
people
Riz?
would think
Is
of.
that the same as
No,
Riz?
No, Riz is we'll
Riz
get
is
into
different.
that. Riz is like Riz.
Old guy on the podcast.
What is Riz? Riz is like
Riz
you're
is
talking.
like talking to the ladies, man.
No,
You know,
or like if you're a girl and you want to Riz up a guy to make him like you, that's what Riz is. If you're a guy and you're talking to a girl to make her like you, then that's, I guess you would call that like
That's Riz.
Rizzin.
W Riz.
W Riz.
Natural flirt.
Right.
No,
Okay,
I got
so charisma.
I'm gonna
It's
shout
just-
out myself. I
Yeah,
got
it's just flirting.
That's where it's from.
I
Okay,
got
but so
L
drip just means
Riz.
You
you've
got
got
L
good
Riz?
style.
I got L Riz.
I
But
don't know what that
drip is like
means.
good style,
His
L
Riz is not good.
Oh, okay.
L Riz is
no.
bad.
Yeah,
I
you
got
caught the
bad
L.
Riz.
Okay, I get it now.
I'm single. Yeah, but I'm not ready to mingle, so I'm just
That's
focusing.
what you're
on
focusing on yourself.
Well,
right now.
here's the thing. You're
Exactly
single
right.
and you're running for politics. I strongly encourage you to not pull a Matt Gaetz. Please don't do a Matt Gaetz.
What's this?
Oh, my gosh.
What
bro.
did he do? Who is that?
I know
so
Matt Gaetz, but I don't know what he did.
So
I know there's a lot of
I'm
controversy.
gonna keep this YouTube friendly.
No, you're gonna have to cut out the whole.
I'm gonna keep it
Is
YouTube
Matt
friendly.
Gaetz on the shadow ban list?
No, he's not. Well,
Okay.
maybe I don't know, but he
he
was
is,
a congressman out of Florida, and he was involved in some. He was did a lot of good for his state and for the country, but he was single when he came into Congress, and he thought, okay, I'm gonna work hard, I'm gonna party harder, and he ended up partying pretty hard with some escorts that he met off the internet. One of them ended up being underage when it was all said and done.
All right.
so-
I am not gonna pull a Matt Gaetz. I am not gonna.
I don't think you are, but I'm just
I
saying,
don't-
like when you go out there, remember you represent Ottawa County.
Yes.
If somebody's like, "Hey, do you want to do a line of Colombian martial
Okay,
party
hold
with
up,
me?"
hold up,
you say,
hold up.
"No,
Yo,
I
No,
don't
dude,
want
I
to do
don't
that."
want that.
Hold up.
If a woman shows up and she is giving you that drip, right? The drip, no, the Riz, the drip, the Riz. She's giving you the Riz.
Yo,
she's
low-key,
rizzing you up.
if a girl gave me the drip, then I could give her good riz.
So-
but the wait, that didn't make sense.
So if she's giving you, but no, if she's giving you the Riz, recognize
She's rizzing
there
you
might be
up?
more behind that than just, oh, she wants some of that. You know what I mean? Like,
Dude, I'm a lonely guy.
like
I'm a lonely
I'm just saying,
guy.
be
I
mindful.
feel
Be
that.
mindful
Yeah, but I
about
don't
your
like-
actions.
you keep
Find
your
yourself a
circle
woman
small.
before you get power. That way, you know she was there beforehand, not afterwards, bro.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, no, I think Matt Gaetz, I'm different than most politicians,
Yeah.
and this is why I think I represent Ottawa County well.
Yep.
I'm not a politician. I'm self-funded. I'm still self-funded.
Yep.
My version of funding is, free advertising where I can do this show and post clips to 100,000 people a week. And clips, not the show. The show gets not many views, but that, when Instagram, you can post on Instagram 100 times a day. It doesn't mess up the algorithm. So if you
I didn't know that.
put the
All right, I'm gonna have
podcast,
to
if you
leverage
put the podcast for everyone that watches and wants to know how I post 100 times a day, I'm doing it myself. I don't have a team. I'm doing it myself, and I'll tell you how. You take any YouTube link, you put it into Opus Clip, and it feeds you 100 clips right there.
Yep,
and
I
then
use
if
it.
you download, if you go to pexels.com, PEXELS.com, you can download a million or like literally infinity amount of free to use content. And then you can download that, put it into Opus Clip, and then Opus Clip will automatically feed you Be Real. So
Be Real,
Opus
okay.
Opus Clip is a fantastic resource for all creators out there. But I really do think that my version of campaigning, it resonates with Ottawa County because we're sick of politicians.
Yes.
We're sick of
definitely.
politicians. We're sick of politicians playing politics.
Right.
I don't
playing
have
politics.
I don't have anyone to please. I just want to say that. Like, I
Playing
don't-
politics is how you got a rising crime rate in Holland. Like playing politics is exactly how we got that. I mean, I remember when I was in high school, 2004, 2005. I'm an old man. Don't at me. But back then, the worst thing you had to worry about was getting your ass kicked, and that was pretty much it. Like I had a knife pulled on me 10 years ago, just between Columbia One Stop and 18th Street, because some dude was about to beat up a homeless person, and like I didn't even like get in anyone's face. I was like, "Hey, bro." like, hey, bro, maybe don't do that. And like this dude pulled out a switchblade and starts walking at me. And it's just like,
What do you do?
Yeah.
held up my skateboard, like, look, dude, I'm not looking to fight. I'm just saying he's old and crazy. Maybe
Right.
beating him up isn't a good idea. And like he just kept walking at me, and he got maybe as far away as producer Teddy and I are. And then he put his blade up, and then he just started walking down the street. And I was like, what the heck?
Wait, he just he walked past you?
No, like, okay, so like imagine like you're on one side of the street where I'm at,
Yeah.
right in front of Columbia One Stop. So
Yeah.
here's One Stop right there, and I'm right there. He's over here, and there's a bench there, and there's an old man hanging out, being crazy because he's old and homeless. And this dude is just like picking a fight with him because he didn't like what the old crazy person said. And so he starts like when I'm like, hey, maybe don't do that. He turns around, starts walking towards me, pops out a switchblade, keeps walking, gets about halfway through the street, and then puts the switchblade away, and then just starts walking down the road. And like, I'm just sitting there like about to like wet myself. You know what I mean? Because like had it been Kentucky, like he would have been in a casket in Kentucky.
Right.
Because like the way the gun laws are structured in Kentucky, I would have absolutely been armed like at that
Exactly.
point. And like the moment that blade came out, like my pistol would have came out, and that would have been it. It'd have been done.
Right.
But Michigan, I basically like got rid of all my guns when I came up, all my handguns when I came up here because they have registration, and I'm anti-registration. And so like why am I anti-registration?
Yeah.
Because it seems like it's a great thing to keep people from doing bad things, but when the government decides they want to do a bad thing, they know exactly who has what and where. And so then they can come take your guns from you or make you a target.
Can I give you a personal anecdote about guns and schools?
Yep.
Brody was in middle school at this time, but when I was a freshman in high school,
I remember that.
you know, I had someone in my first hour. His name was Davian Weston, and he was in my first hour. I go to school like it's a regular day.
Yep.
I see Davian in my first hour. I didn't talk to him. He sat on the other side of the room, but I see him. It's going to be a normal day, and then we have seminar in the middle of the day. So I'm in seminar. Was your sister there in my seminar?
Probably, yeah.
I think she might have been.
Did you have Mr. Blake?
No.
Yeah.
But I had Mr. Kelly, but I think she might have been in.
Probably.
Because we came
You
to each
transfer
other's
and stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes I don't know. But I was in seminar. We get a notice over the PA system, PA or PO,
Yeah,
one of
PA.
those systems,
Yeah.
right? The announcement system, and it said lockdown, lockdown, lockdown. This is not a drill.
Oh, geez.
And I can tell you, and I'm sure the viewers know, that is not a sound you want to hear. The teachers at our school were boarding up the doors with whatever they could. They were flipping cabinets upside down.
Yeah.
They were doing whatever they could to make sure the kids are safe.
Yeah.
That is a situation where, you know, everyone is so afraid of school shootings because they happen too frequently. One school shooting is too many school shootings,
Yeah.
but we have
So many.
It is so ridiculous that there needs to be an end to it. There needs to be a stop.
Sure.
Do you think that registering the guns and stopping registration would at all impact that?
I don't, not at all. Registration was happening before school shootings were pandemic. Registration's super old in Michigan. This isn't a new thing. The shootings keep happening. The real question is why? What's going on? So we can say, oh, get rid of the guns. People could argue that, and maybe that puts a dent in the school shootings. But does that put a dent in the real problem? And will
Right.
people find other ways to do horrible things? Because
You could stab someone.
what we've found in countries where they have banned them is knifings went through the roof.
Exactly.
Now in the UK, they're talking about making all knives illegal, and you have to buy a special knife that can't stab. Like, that's like a real conversation in the UK now. And so you have to look back and reflect on the modern firearm is 100 years old. The double action firearm is 100 years old. That's how every modern semi-automatic rifle works, is off of that technology. It's ancient. It's been around forever. My dad had guns in the back of his truck at school. Okay, they were common. They were ubiquitous everywhere. There was rifle training where people were taught how to use firearms at school. Kids
Yeah,
were taught how to
they
do
would
this.
clean their guns
And
there,
school
too.
shootings were not a common thing. So the real question becomes, what has changed in the American culture or in the American zeitgeist that has made it that school shootings have become such a commonplace thing? Well, I would imagine we've seen a rise of social media, and we've seen a rise of like online bullying and in-person bullying that's come with that. People do some harsh things when they feel depressed, alone, and isolated. They'll do some crazy stuff. Now you factor and go back even farther. You look at divorce rates and how those have tracked with school shootings. it used to be that a father raised his son and daughter and a mother raised her son and daughter. Now the sons and daughters are being raised by public employees, government employees. They're being raised by government employees. They're being raised by mega corporations. And you might be like, oh, really? But they are. When you get on your smartphone and you're interacting with Facebook as a kid when your parents aren't watching you, you're being raised by whoever you're interacting with on Facebook. Facebook profits off of your interaction with it. So you're being raised by Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or YouTube or whatever, or the Xbox, you know what I mean, or Microsoft. Right. You know, you're being raised by this corporation. Now you factor in Big Pharma. The kid is sitting in school all day, a young boy or a young girl, and we're not meant to just sit like that. So they start acting out, and then Big Pharma's, you know, to a hammer, everything's a nail. Well, your kid's got ADHD, or your kid's got depression, or your kid's got that, and
here's
it's like,
a pill.
Yeah, here's a pill. And instead, maybe it's like, maybe both parents shouldn't be working and the parents should be spending time with their kids again, and this would alleviate a lot of these issues. Maybe we don't have kids sit in a class for 8 to 10 hours a day doing this, not talking, not being themselves, not interacting, and then on top of that, raising each other. Yeah. The kids are raising each other. It's like it's like an insane asylum raising an insane.
Basically, yeah.
Can I give a shout out before I forget? I first of all, I want to. You talked about social media and how it makes a lot of kids feel alone and sad, and I want to jump on that. But to jump off your last point, you were just talking about, what were you talking about? Like the very last thing you said when I cut you off.
Basically, like the kids are raising themselves and they're being raised by
teachers.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to go on a point about teachers. Teachers, if you want your students to be successful and if you want your students to be college, career, and life ready, shout out West Ottawa, I firmly believe that you should let them be themselves. Let them be whoever they want to be. Make sure that they don't fear you in any way, shape, or form. Because if your kid is filled with fear, your kid is going to be fearful his or her entire life. And when you're controlled by fear, in my opinion, fear holds you back from everything. Fear makes you not want to take risks. Fear it makes you not want to go and talk to the person that is super big and ask them if they want to be on the podcast. Shout out Lo-Fi.
I don't know about being super big, but thank you.
Fear, you're huge, man. Look at the numbers you pull every show. It's crazy.
Yeah, but I still feel like I'm very small, so like I get what you're saying, but it doesn't feel huge. But no, there's a real issue here with this. He's being humble. There's a real issue with this because like I'm sure we have all heard the phrase "snitches get stitches," right? So we have these kids in school all day long, and they can't tell on the bullies because they will get bullied even further because the bully is not stupid. When the bully gets in trouble, the bully knows who they were bullying. The bullying bullies more. We need to get back to a point where we actually encourage kids to defend themselves rather than relying on the authority to protect them. So because like that's like the big thing. And I guarantee if you guys talk to your fathers, talk to producer Teddy's dad, talk to producer Teddy or I, fist fights usually toned things back down.
Definitely.
I experienced, and I won't shout his name out because I'm sure he's a perfectly fine adult now, but there was some person, he was always talking shit to me, just constantly, just like, hey, Stidfuck, what are you doing? Just mean. And I beat the fucking brakes off of that dude at a party one night. I beat the brakes off of that dude.
Tell us the story. How'd it happen?
I was walking through. I was a little bit drunk, and he stuck his foot out to try and trip me when he was laying on the ground. And I just, like, kicked him in the back of the knee as hard as I could, just whop, and just put him in a headlock and just started punching him in the face. And then I was, like, trying to choke him to death. And then my friends pulled me off of him. And then, you know what? Nobody ever picked on me again after that. People stopped picking on me when I stood up for myself.
You kind of gain respect that way. Yes. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think that's huge. I think that's good.
Can I ask you a question? Did you feel like like a giant weight off your chest when that happened? Like
no,
a big...
I was pissed. I wanted to keep beating on him, but my friends wouldn't let me. I was not happy about that. But later, I didn't really realize what that had done for me until I was an adult. When I look back and it's like, okay, this kind of tracks with when people stopped messing with me. Because it's like, oh, you have to be concerned with, is, Stidfuck gonna break my nose because I'm sitting here running my mouth at him. People start to get concerned with that, and now they don't want to pick on me anymore. And but that also doesn't solve the problem. There's got to be self-reflection too. There were things I was doing that brought negativity onto me, and so had it been just that one fist fight, nothing would have been resolved. There would have just been more fights, one after another, but there wasn't, because I realized I was being an asshole too.
That's actually funny. You talked about are people worried about you? Like, they're worried about doing something to you, or you're going to get pissed because they saw that at the party.
Yep.
But that reminds me of this because I used to get a lot of hate on social media, a lot of hate on Facebook specifically. Well, it was a politics. People turn into people.
They do.
People turn into their true selves, and if they're a miserable person, they turn into a miserable person online. When it comes to politics, usually they can hold back. But when it comes to social media and people leaving bad comments, I haven't been getting any.
Good.
No.
Recently, and I think I know why.
Because you don't respond to them. It's righteous to be mad, and it's righteous to like seek some sort of equilibrium.
Yeah.
But once all the dust is settled, it's kind of got to get dropped, because otherwise it becomes a scab that gets picked.
No, I feel that.
Every time it gets brought up, it doesn't help. So, and that's where I would say something like that, because there are people in my life who've wronged me in ways that make me angry.
Right.
But I've found, Kevin talked about manifesting things, and like he's not wrong about that. So if your focus... Yeah, if your focus is on the bad or the negative that's happened, you will manifest bad and negative things to happen in your life.
Right.
A clear example of being able to manifest things is when I became a dad. I realized I couldn't smoke weed anymore. Mm-hmm. I couldn't make pizzas anymore, and I had to give up skateboarding because I had to go work 50, 60 hours a week to take care of my kid.
Right, you got different priorities.
Exactly. And so, I did that, and then my focus on being able to provide for my daughter started out with, I have nothing, and I'm going to build something up, cool, and then her mom left me, and I had to fight for custody of her. And so then it became, I don't make enough money. I need to figure out how I can make more money to support my kid.
Right.
So then I leave a shop that I know I've got a job at that I can rely on to go to a shop in Grand Rapids to make more money, because it was worth that increase in raise. Even as scary as it was a change. And then, I need more money. I need to be willing to leave. And at that point, I'd gotten into engineering. I need to be willing to leave to go get that more money. And I was. And so then the company offered me more money to keep me. And so my focus, long story short, was on how can I make money to provide for my family?
Right.
That's where my focus was. And I managed to manifest things that would help me take care of my family. And it still works that way. And so that's where it's that focus is so important on whatever it is anybody wants to do. If you want to be a politician like Kevin, if you want to own a business, if you want to run a successful podcast, build cars, whatever, your focus has to be on that. And
just set your goals and always go for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
no matter what.
Yes.
That's what you're saying right now.
Yeah, and don't holding grudges isn't healthy. Don't hold the grudge.
Right.
Don't throw the stone, because throwing that stone again, it causes ripple effects, and those ripples you cannot predict what those ripples are going to do. It is not a predictable thing. But what you can predict is what you do. I am going to do a podcast like Kevin's doing. I'm going to do a podcast like I'm doing. I am going to go do this job. And producer Teddy is a contractor. He put his focus into that, and he's good at it, and he's smarter than men that are 10 years his senior, because he's put his focus on that and did it. These things in life are all fleeting, and if you get caught up in the negativity of one thing or the other, man, it just it won't help anything.
Yeah, you're gonna have takeaways with stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Some stuff it will be bad, but you always want to focus on overall what's going to help you. It will, and
it'll hurt. Like what he's talking about, I get it. I get it, because I went through some. I'm sure it wasn't the same thing, but I'm sure it was similar enough.
Yeah.
And I would, just like he would, I would talk about it, and I'd be like, no, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know that feeling.
I would have that attitude. I would, and I did.
Yeah.
And so it's not like I'm speaking from a position of outside looking in. I'm speaking from I've been there.
You've been there. Yeah.
But putting that away is a healthy feeling where you're just not worried about it anymore. It's okay, whatever. I can't control them. They suck. They suck. What can I do about this?
Yeah, always worry about what you can control. I think that's a huge thing for people nowadays. They're always, looking at other people.
Yep.
And a lot of people get anxious about that. Mm-hmm. But you just got to focus on what you can control. And I think people have a better way of life by doing that.
Well, so I told you, I beat the brakes off that one dude.
Yeah.
Because that wouldn't have solved my problems. What solved my problems was I realized that the things I was saying to people were making people dislike me. And it wasn't like, I like the Lions, people were disliking me. It was like, I don't like this person for this reason. Okay, well, you say that to one person, that one person says it to another person who says it to another person, and now that person doesn't like you, and whoever was friends with them now has an issue with you.
Right.
So you've like screwed with the karmic balance of things by running your mouth about anything like that. And it becomes that whole like, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. You by saying nice things and being positive, you bring more positivity back into your life.
Oh, definitely.
And once I realized that, then it was, okay, the fighting stops the bullies from wanting to pick on me, but just not being a dickhead
Also
stops people from wanting to pick on me.
Yeah.
You know, they worked hand in hand with each other. You know, and my life got a lot better for me after that. I mean, I really enjoyed college. I went from like absolutely suicidal my junior and senior year of high school. Oh yeah, like I was not in a good place at all. I hated my life. To where when I got to college, like I felt like I could do anything when I got to college, and like I could be whatever I wanted to be, and it was a good feeling.
What made you feel that way?
My dad gave me this advice. Said, son, and this advice came at the right time. If he'd have said it to me sooner, it would have been bad advice. Said to me, son, when you walk in a place, act like you own it. 90% of the time, they will give it to you.
Right.
And he gave that to me as I was going to college. And so this was after I'd already realized, like, okay, the things I'm saying to and about people are causing me problems. Try to be positive. After realizing that, and then having been in that fight, it's like, okay, I'm just going to go be a good person who can stand up for themselves. And as long as I walk in like I own the place, they'll give it to me.
Right.
And it very much went that way for me all through college, and it's gone that way for me through most of my life.
Right.
Like, okay, I'm going to do the right thing. I mean, you guys don't know this, but I went through a custody battle. And it was hard, and I have sole custody of my oldest daughter.
Okay.
Sole custody. And my attitude through that entire custody battle was, okay, I'm going to do the right thing, and I'm going to keep doing the right thing, and it's going to work out. And I just kept doing that and doing that and doing that and doing that. I got custody of my daughter. I'm married. Got 2 more kids. I got a 4th on the way. I got a home. I got
Congrats.
a podcast. Like,
shout out Lo-Fi.
Thank you.
Shout out Lo-Fi for real. You're doing great things.
Thank you.
Great things.
But it's all about that positive perspective. And so you didn't get to really hear what I was saying. But
I didn't.
So I went through some like heavy negativity towards that guy who stole that stuff, and I would do exactly like you did, where I would just like, no, that guy. You know what I mean? I would. And you're not wrong to feel that way. It's absolute righteous anger, Kevin. Genuinely, it's righteous anger, and I get it. But what you'll find when you get a little bit older is it's like when you do those things, you're taking a big rock and you're throwing it into a pristine lake and just causing these ripples. And you can't control what those ripples do. But what you can control is everything you say and do. So that guy sucks. Everybody knows he sucks. So let him fade into the oblivion of being a shitty, sucky person.
Right.
And you just focus on being the badass that started his own business, is trying to become a politician to do good for for Ottawa.
Well, I'm not a politician. That's my slogan, not a politician.
Yeah, but you're focused on, you're moving that direction, man. You've got a lot of good things you're focused on. And when you bring that guy up, man, you just threw a fucking rock in that pond. That's what you did. And so, like, that's the only advice I'm giving you is like, yeah, you know he sucks. But not talking about him makes him suck even more because you kept it, you pushed his name right out of the spotlight, and he gets to go live as a shitty person in a shitty place doing shitty things for the rest of his life, whereas you go about doing all these awesome things. See what I'm saying? Like it's like you're talking about with manifesting.
But
things.
it wasn't like, you know, it's hard to just forget about something.
Oh, I know,
like that
dude.
because
I get it. That's what I'm telling you. You're right to feel anger.
He was my best friend for 8 years.
I get the feeling.
And then out of nowhere, you know, we both go on a trip. I buy his flight to Nashville because he didn't have much money, and I buy his flight.
Yep.
And I didn't have any money in my bank account, zero, because I just sold my car.
Yep.
Not this car, but I sold my Ford Edge at the time.
Yeah.
No money in my bank account. $10,250 in my bag. And we take a flight to Nashville. I sold my car, and I was going to buy a car in Nashville with no rust, drive it back to Michigan. That was our plan. I didn't even have a flight back. And then when we get there, the first night, I told the story on episode 3, but my brother was sleeping. We were both sleeping in the living room. We got back from going out that night, and I go to bed. Esteban goes in my brother's room to grab a charger, grabs the charger, comes back. and then I never saw him again. I haven't seen him since. That was 2 years ago.
Jesus. Yeah, no, I can see why that
Took money.
sucks.
So it sucks, but it's like I was never angry about it because my first thought wasn't like, where's the money in the morning when he wasn't there. My first thought was, where's Esteban? We went out driving, looking all over the place before I even looked for the money. I did not care. I don't care about the money. I
get it.
That personal like betrayal,
that loyalty that he betrayed.
But when that happened to me, I kind of realized like nothing matters.
No,
nothing
lots of
matters.
Stuff matter, but
and that's not like nothing matters. Like, why are you so afraid? Why was I so afraid when my best friend was going to be the one robbing me $10K? Why am I afraid of what my teacher's going to think? Why am I afraid of, oh, what if someone doesn't even buy my services? What if someone doesn't? What if someone doesn't?
A much bigger place than just like
what if
the little things.
What if someone doesn't buy the #1 merchant in the world on TUEBOR shop at Instagram?
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean?
Yep.
So why am I so afraid of these things? And right after that,
and that's why.
Yeah. Well, and then when you realize it can anything
can
change. Someone could come right here and like, you know, someone could kill me. You know, someone could, a politician has a tenth of 1% chance of being murdered, which is a crazy stat, ridiculous stat.
That makes sense.
Political violence is stupid.
It is.
But if you're an OG like Trump, you dodge it.
That was so nutty. That was talk about
Riz.
Oh my gosh! Just stand up and have the wherewithal to not shit your pants, not piss yourself, and then go fight.
Yeah,
dude. That's so crazy.
Talk about Riz, man. He's got Riz.
He does. He's got something, that's for sure. He's got plot armor. Like, that's for sure. He is definitely the main character.
W. Riz Trump.
So
okay, but I want to switch the subject a little bit. You talked about getting involved. You live in West Michigan and you want to, make change and you want to be an advocate for change.
Yep.
So how can we convince and convey to the viewers watching at home in West Michigan that they can do that same thing and they can empower themselves and create a voice for themselves where they inspire others to talk about politics and local issues?
Let's focus on hate, because there's going to be people who know this. Ottawa Impact. People love it or they hate it. Okay? And if you hate it, that should be some fuel for you right there. Locals manage to get together, form a group, and then go actively try to change the way the political world ran within their community. That's a good thing. Love or hate what they did, that in and of itself, local people deciding to go actively do something in their local government caused change for the better, period. Whether you like the things they did or not, it caused things for the better because people got involved. So if you hate Ottawa Impact, good. Go run for office and do what you think will help make the world a better place. And if you love Ottawa Impact, take them as an inspiration. Locals got together, decided to do a thing to better their community, and then they went and actively pursued that. You can do the same thing. People can do it. Running for the school board is a thing that people can do. I've had a guy on that ran for the school board. He lost, but at least he got out there and tried.
Right.
You know what I mean? He put himself out there to go do it. And politics is a battle of attrition. If enough good people decide they want to participate, eventually some of those good people are going to break through and achieve those roles, and America gets a little bit better than it was yesterday. And that's whether I agree or disagree with someone's politics. That's what needs to happen. People need to participate again. And right now, everybody's too busy looking at Cornhub and playing video games and scrolling TikToks and whatever to care about the things that affect their everyday life. I mean, local government is such an important thing. Local government's where you will see the change in the world. I could go run for Congress tomorrow, and I might. The things I do in Congress, you won't see for 2 to 4 years after I've done it. But you go run for a school board, people see those changes 6 months from the day you win. People see those changes. And you'll get that fulfillment of knowing you did a thing that helped your community. And if you suck, you know what? You're going to get drugged too, and rightly so. You get the checks and balances, right? So, that would be the advice I would give anybody. Go get involved, man. There's always something to run for. County commissioner, school board.
Or all those things have supporting roles too, right?
They do. Yep.
So, was, which you can repeat what I don't know if what I'm saying is going to be caught in the mic.
Yep.
Maybe repeat what I said. But,
yeah, basically there's supporting roles too. Go get involved. You know, there are people that need help with things. I got the burps. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
Secretaries. Shoot, I don't know how to explain it, but there's supporting roles. It's not just elected offices.
Right, there's stuff under the main
Great
role.
example. If you can go get a job at the DMV and you're a good person, go do it. You'll make everybody's world a little bit better by doing that.
Yeah.
Just by doing that. Like, so I was explaining to my wife last night what the deep state is.
Shout out Lo-Fi's wife.
Yeah, wife was awesome. But I was explaining to her what the deep state is because she didn't know what it was, and a lot of people don't know what it is. And it will get listed off as a conspiracy theory. It is not. It is a blanket term that describes people who work for the government in unelected positions. So that's why I brought up specifically the lady at the Secretary of the State.
You sound like Vivek Ramaswamy.
Probably. I like a lot of
unelected bureaucrat so many times.
But the lady at the DMV is an unelected bureaucrat. The secretary working for the mayor of Grand Haven, unelected bureaucrat.
True.
The secretaries would just the support staff around a congressperson, like a staffer and aide, unelected. They're unelected bureaucrats. They're all unelected. The police officer, the average police officer is an unelected bureaucrat. A police chief in a town, not a sheriff. Police chief in a town, unelected bureaucrat. The deep state is a way to describe people who work for the government in unelected positions. And those people have a whole lot of power, way more power than you think. I mean, think about that time you went to the Secretary of State to go change your ID. And you brought all of the documents that the internet said to bring, and the lady said, well, you don't have the right document. So you go back, you go get the document she requested. You come back, you get a different person, and the different person says, why did you bring me this document? I didn't need it. You have these documents. That's an example of incompetence. Now, fractal that, or butterfly effect that thing across the entire state and federal government. Holy crap, we've got problems. Like,
how does that? Okay, that person might have been incompetent at the DMV. She might have been not good at her job. She might have been awful at her job. But how does that represent power? How does that mean she has power?
Yep, because she does. That day she got to decide whether I got my ID or not, whether I could change my ID. And when you move to a certain state, you have to change your ID within a very particular amount of time. So at that point, if you don't have your ID, you now become, not a full-blown criminal, but you're breaking some sort of law because you didn't follow the laws. Where it can get really scary is when you look at somewhere like Washington, D.C., or even Lansing. You've got lobbyists now that are interacting with people, and they're not just interacting with the elected representative, they're interacting with all of the aides that work for them that are in unelected positions. And sometimes those jobs hop between the two. So you go from being an aide for a congressman to working for Big Pharma as a lobbyist to convince other congressmen to vote for the laws that your company thinks you should vote for. These become very dangerous and very corrupt things very quickly because now you've got money being thrown around between people who you can't even vote out of office. You can't even get rid of these people. This is their job and this is what they're going to do. That's a dangerous place to be in. And that's why you hear Vivek and Elon raging on about that. They're not wrong. Just think, if the average person realized how much money they are spending out of every paycheck to support people who weren't even elected into these positions to make policies that then affect them. A great example of this is ATF.
Can I cut you off for 1 second?
Please. I'm ranting.
So no, you're good. You're good. I do think though, to some regard, our country can't operate without unelected bureaucrats.
I agree with you.
What are we going to do?
So what happens?
Force all our congressmen and senators to operate their own DMVs in their districts. I do think that, unelected bureaucrats, most of them are incredible people. They do an incredible job and they're sacrificing their life. They're sacrificing their life to this country and creating a better place for all Americans. How do we solve the problem to trim off the select few who are tarnishing the reputation of the so many?
So to be fair, I'm very much pro-union, and this seems tangent, but it is very much.
You're good. You're good.
I am pro-union, absolutely pro-union. I think Amazon and fast food companies should have formed unions ages ago because it's crazy what's happening in those places of business. However, for government employees to be able to form a union is insane. That is an insane stance for people who are unelected to form a union. That's basically a way to hold the entire populace hostage to people you can't even vote out of office. And now you can't fire them either because they have a union. The fact that we allow police unions, firemen's unions, unions within any government body is insane. That is an insane position to take because you can't vote those people out of office, and which means you can't fire them either. That means that the politician you elect cannot fire that person because they are in a union. That means the union controls the government, not the people you are electing anymore. That would be a good first step in the right direction, I think.
Did you see that big union not endorse the Democrats for the first time in 36 years?
I did. And as much as I am happy...
What was that union called?
That was the police union.
The police union,
and
that's right. Was that of America or of Michigan, or was it...
It was Police Unions of America.
Police Unions of America.
As happy as I am that they endorsed Donald Trump...
No, they didn't, though. They didn't.
I thought they did.
No, they endorsed nobody.
No, you're thinking of the Teamsters.
Teamsters. Oh, Teamsters.
No, you're thinking of the
Teamsters. It was a big thing that they didn't endorse anybody. 56% of the Teamsters... 56% of the Teamsters union people
supported Trump.
So why didn't they endorse Trump?
Because they're playing politics and they're affecting the flow of our country. That's what's going on right now. And again, the police unions, they backed Trump. Cool. I'm happy they backed Trump. They shouldn't have existed to begin with. The fact that they had the kind of power to say we endorse this politician is crazy, especially when you can't just fire a police officer. It's not like you can just be like, oh, no, you suck at your job, you're fired.
Right.
They have to actively do things to get themselves fired. You can't just be like, oh, you're incompetent, we fire you. They've got to break the law or break very specific rules, and then you can fire them. It just seems dangerous. It seems dangerous. Even teachers' unions. I'm not a fan of teachers' unions. They are government employees. Well,
I think to some extent, they fight and they actively fight for raising their pay, which I do think teachers should be paid more. I think cops should be paid a lot more.
I agree with both of these things.
Because it takes a lot. I was going to say some really controversial take that just wasn't true. I was going to say cops are more important than doctors, but that's not true. Doctors are important, but cops are the most important. They are the most important. Doctors are so important too, actually. I don't know what's the most important. Teachers are extremely important as well. But cops, they're the ones fighting crimes. They're the ones getting shot. They're the ones that sacrifice their life on a daily basis to protect the citizens of West Michigan.
But a teacher would argue that they are shaping the lives of those future citizens.
Yeah, the youth.
And so, what I would say is they're all important. They're all parts of a functioning society. So you can't just be like, the police officer's more important, the doctor's more important, or the teacher's more important.
But they feel that no one's fighting for them.
I'm sure they do. And that boils back towards people not being involved in their local politics. When you really get down to it, a teachers union sucks, in my opinion. However, if you get a school board in power, you get people that are local that actually care about their kids and have students in the school sitting on the school board. Teachers have much less of the ability to say and do crazy things to the kids and get away with it. There are ways around it. And so they all want things. And maybe the culture we've built right now is creating a thing where the teacher union needs to exist when maybe it shouldn't, or when the police officers union needs to exist when it shouldn't. As an example, it's just now coming out with the George Floyd stuff that I forget the name of the cop who was on his neck, but it's coming out now that in the trial, part of what convicted him was they said it wasn't part of standard training for him to put a knee on a shoulder and neck like that. Except it has come out now. There have been leaked videos from training all the way up until 2023 that is standard training, and police officers do it every single day in Minnesota. And he's probably going to walk out of prison because of that. Because he did what he was trained to do. Now, the police union typically would have defended him, right? But they backed away and let him hang because the population demanded their blood. They wanted their pound. They wanted their pound of flesh, and so those are examples of the unions not doing what they're supposed to. The union initially was formed to protect the police officer or to protect the teacher, for sure. But then you get incompetent police officers and teachers who are now protected by the union, and that has a blowback effect on the entirety of society. Because if you've got one shitty teacher that is let's say you've got an activist teacher, a teacher that's actively pushing a political ideology, whether it's right-wing or left-wing, they are shaping all of the children that come out of that class now to believe a particular way. Instead of creating a free thinker, they have absolutely created a captive thinker that's going forward. So, but we can't fire that teacher because technically they didn't break any rules and the union's protecting them. However, they're destroying society doing what they're doing, that particular teacher. Same with a shitty police officer. You got a cop that's running around being an absolute racist. Like, we can't fire him because he didn't technically break any laws.
Most cops are great.
They are. Oh, yeah, and I'm not anti-cop.
I know some. Shout out cops.
Yeah, I know. I'm very much pro-cop, but all it takes is one bad cop in a police union, and you can destroy the entire perception of police and the community.
Definitely.
Like,
But I think people talk too much about like the bad cops, honestly, because
Well, yeah, it gets overshadowed.
there's so many good cops.
I agree.
It gets overshadowed.
But
no, because the good cop stories don't go viral.
No.
Those are never the guys that are in the news.
You're 100%
the good
correct.
cops, the cops that are sacrificing their life on a daily basis.
The question that the left would have, and I'm not trying to play devil's advocate here. I promise I'm not.
Yeah. Well, no, it's me playing devil's advocate,
No,
but I think
all your points are reasonable. But the person on the left would say, if you are a cop and you witness another cop break the law, it is your duty to arrest that cop and do something about it. But because of the idea of like the thin blue line and the unions, they don't. So that's where the saying comes, if you've got 11 good cops and one bad cop in a room, how many bad cops do you have? You have 12 bad cops, because they all know the one cop was doing a bad thing and none of them did anything about it. That's where it goes. And the same could be said for teachers. You've got 12 teachers sitting in a room and one of them is an absolute shitbag. How many bad teachers do you have in the room? You get 12 bad teachers, because none of them are doing anything about that one shitbag. And that's the reference back towards
How do
the
we
unions.
know?
How do you know?
Yeah.
I mean, they might be.
What if they did, or what if they tried?
Well, they might be mean, they might be cold, they might ignore them, but the union still protects their job and they still hold their job. And some people.
So can those? What if one of them went to the union?
Well, if they didn't break the rules, the union is not going to do anything about it.
So then, how do we have 12 bad teachers?
If they knew that one teacher was a bad teacher, then they're all 12 bad teachers, because they couldn't.
But they couldn't do it. They tried to do something about it, but they couldn't.
That's a good argument. No, it's a valid argument.
I don't know. It's a,
So at that point,
what do we do then?
I would say that we have a fundamental problem in our society then, and we need to reshape that. And that goes back to a culture issue. We need to reshape culture, which would go back to what I was talking about earlier. Parents need to start raising their kids.
Can I go back to what you said earlier?
Of course, whatever you want. It's your show, bro.
You talked about training.
Yeah.
I want to talk to this guy, Brody, sitting right to my left, about training. Because
what about training?
So lo-fi.
Yeah.
And Steve, and wait.
You can call me Low Fire Steve. I don't care. Either works. Either works.
Lo-fi. Lo-fi.
Either one works.
It's funny. I'm gonna, on the YouTube thumbnail, I'm gonna say lo-fi the political. It just sounds cool.
It's
lo-fi.
the lo-fi political guy.
I know, but lo-fi. Yeah, but you got to go by lo-fi. You got to.
People refer to me as lo-fi on TikTok.
Really?
Call him lo-fi.
Okay.
Call him lo-fi.
Hey, what's good, lo-fi?
What up?
See, now you say that. Now it's actually gonna get stuck in your brain. Just watch. By saying things,
Yeah.
I said I put a picture on my mirror. Said Kevin J. Maas, like this, a sticky note, and I read it to myself every single day. I, Kevin J. Maas, will be in the year 2025 consistent, determined, ambitious, based, and humble each and every day. And then I also wrote, I, Kevin J. Maas, in the year 2025 will, and then I listed 10 of my goals that I want to do. Those I'm going to keep private, because I also I'm going to switch back, because we were talking about training. I had something I wanted to say. I just got on a side note. Brody, the word on the street was that in 2050s, hot button topic for West Ottawa swimmers.
Oh my God, yeah.
The word on the street was that Joe Engel wasn't trying.
Dude, Joe Engel was kicking your ass, bro. You were sandbagging those 2050s.
Yo, dude. Joe Engel, he might come on the show. He might.
I can get him to.
Get him on the.
I
get him on.
dude.
Joe Engel. He's like the hardest worker. Like literally.
Dude,
that's why I like to joke about it.
I don't know what a 2050 is. So
2050s.
I thought you were talking about a year.
You want to explain to him what it is?
2050. So.
And tell him how Joe Engel was slacking.
Joe Engel was not slacking. Do you know what a 50 is?
Like a $50 bill?
No, like a 50 in swimming.
No.
Oh, like 50 yard.
Yeah.
50 yard.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in high school, a short course, they're back, basically.
Okay.
Yep. That's a 50. But one of our sets was 2050s, but they were all out.
Yeah.
And his take on it is that my buddy Joe was sandbagging, and that means you save
I know
it
what
all.
sandbagging means.
Okay.
Now I'm on the same page. I just didn't know what 2050 meant. So I'm like, is this a politician? What are you talking about?
It's just a training reference.
Okay. So you're talking about
in the year 2050, I'm running for president. No,
Well, no, I thought you were like talking about some policy that some boomers are going to be all pissed off about in 30 years. Like, I was just like, okay, cool. We're like way out. Like, we're out there now. All right.
He is an extremely hard worker. He's swimming at Hope College right now.
Oh, cool.
Shout out Hope College.
He's on the travel team.
He's on the travel team. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Joe Engel, he's doing great things. Hope College, they're doing great things as well. You know, their football team did pretty well this season. Shout out Hope College.
Real quick, are the Lions going to take the Super Bowl?
Oh, they're winning. I've said all year
Go
they are winning the Super Bowl. No doubt in my mind. Absolutely zero, no doubt. You know, this car, it's a lion-colored car.
Okay.
So, we're big Lion supporters here.
Nice.
We are big Lion supporters here.
Not here. I'm a Packers fan, dude.
But why?
My dad's from
Yo,
Green
I think
Bay.
we got some beef,
But
Brody.
why?
I think we got.
Why is
I think
he
we
from
got.
there?
I think we got some beef, Brody. I think we for real got some beef. So what makes you say those awful things about the Lions? Do
I just said I wasn't a Lions fan.
you think they're winning the Super Bowl?
No.
What?
They're not a playoff team.
What?
They always fumble in the playoffs.
I think this interview's done.
Oh man.
Do I?
Okay. All right. We got to elaborate on this now, Brody. What's going on here?
Well, the Packers have lost more Super Bowls than you guys have even gone to.
Low key, no. High key, I can't even. I'm gonna say.
Well,
However, before the Super Bowl started, we were like the best before the Super Bowl was a thing.
who has the Lombardi Trophy? Who's that named after?
Lambo, your dog.
Vince Lombardi. Who was that?
He has a dog named
No,
Lambo.
he's dead now.
Oh. He had a dog named Lambo. Sorry, I knew that.
sorry.
It's all right. It's all right.
Shout out Lambo.
That dude was a beast. Love that guy.
If Lambo is
He was
watching
good.
this in heaven, shout out Lambo. We
Yeah.
love you.
Dude's good.
Lambo is a good dog.
Well, now that you brought up this topic, I had someone at Chick-fil-A today press me about being a Packers fan. So I had my Packers beanie on, and I was just ordering my food. One of the employees was like, "Nice hat." I'm like, "Go Pack, go!" And then this other employee comes over, and he started going off on me.
Yeah.
I'm like, "What did I do? I'm just a Packers fan, dude." Like
me.
Yeah.
We're off. No, I'm
Bro,
just kidding.
this is Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
If we
but
were in the Upper Peninsula, I might understand.
This is lion country. Okay, but
just always
he's
grown up
gonna
that
there's
way.
something else about this guy that'll change your mind. I promise you.
Okay.
he didn't seem like he wasn't acting normal,
Yeah.
but he was giving off. He was a Kamala Harris supporter. And
Wait, the swimmer?
no,
Oh, because
no,
you're talking about the
Chick-fil-A
2050. Now
employee. This
okay.
is he was giving off those vibes. You know, this is not official that he is
He
one.
drinks his coffee with
Wait,
swim
hold up. So how do we know that he was a Kamala Harris supporter?
Yeah,
guess.
just based off how he was acting.
What
man.
was he acting like? What was his aneurysms?
He didn't have anything to back it up. You know, he had
Oh,
no,
that's facts.
he had
That
no-
is so facts. Like no proof.
Yeah,
no
and
back.
it was all joy.
No
the
argument.
thing he
all
said was
joy.
completely. So he goes, "You guys haven't been to a Super Bowl in 15 years, yet we won in 2011." So I don't know how that works.
What does that have to do with Kamala Harris, though?
She doesn't. No, it was just the way he was acting that was giving Kamala Harris supporter vibes.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
So NPC.
Yeah,
Sure,
basically.
yeah,
Do you know what
yeah,
NPC
something like
stands
that.
for?
Non-playable character. Bro, I play
Non-play-
video games. I know what NPC means.
There's another saying that I
That's a fair question though, because the Riz and the
I was just curious. Yeah,
Usually NPC
So-
means they're a non-playable character.
he
They're basically
just-
just operating on autopilot.
well,
Yeah.
look, when the younger generation, you know, we have words now. We say drip. We say Riz, we say NPC. I don't say NPC.
I say chill
You know
all
what
the
a lot of
time.
athletes say in college? They say NARP. NARP means non-athletic regular person. Shout out all the regular people. I love you. Just know that you are not regular. You are not regular. You're special. You're determined. You're ambitious, and I believe that you can do whatever you put your mind to. But the saying, the joke, it's a joke. Like regular people are
it's
not.
good. We get it.
Everyone is special. No, I just want everyone
Nobody's
to believe. I know you guys aren't, but I don't want anyone to think they're regular. For real, everyone has what it takes and is special. But NARP. It's a good saying, but not a good saying. Wait.
No, it's fine. It's all good.
Contradicting myself.
Basically,
there.
lots of people.
It's a saying.
Lots of people make claims and they don't know what the hell they're talking about, and they won't stand by those claims. Just like this guy over here talking about the Green Bay's going to win this year.
What are you saying over here, bro? What's going on here, bro?
Man.
Dude,
we got the
Eagles. Who's the NFC champs?
Okay.
If the Packers want to make the Super Bowl, they got to go through Detroit. And you know who's undefeated in Detroit this year? Detroit.
To be fair, though,
I think
to be fair though, when it comes to football, I'm absolutely an NPC. I like the Lions because I've always liked the Lions. Like, it's the Lions because I just say it. However, I don't know fucking shit about the Lions other than they've been winning all year, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So I'm peak NPC on this. Like, I know it, and that's okay.
The Detroit Lions are winning the Super Bowl in the year 2025.
I know the numbers say statistically, like it's them versus the Chiefs last I looked, though.
Right.
Yeah, but the Chiefs last year they had Taylor Swift supporters. This year the Swifties left. The Swifties were done. They're done with football. They're done. They were like, all right, well, we had that 1 year. The Swifties left. Eminem is still here supporting Detroit.
Eminem versus nobody. We win.
Well, that's the thing.
True.
Eminem, wise words from Eminem.
Didn't he support Kamala Harris?
Yeah,
and Hillary Clinton after making a song making fun of Hillary Clinton?
I saw that.
That dude's a sellout. For real.
Hey, that dude's a G. That dude's a legend. I
I'm sure he's a G,
I don't care
but he's a
who.
political sellout for sure.
I don't care who he voted for. That Eminem
fair,
will be remembered as a
fair,
legend.
Producer Teddy and I grew up listening to Eminem. We grew up listening to Eminem.
So he's a legend.
I remember,
He is a legend.
I remember what he
said.
said about the Clintons and about the Gores and about the Bushes and about all of them, and then to watch him just cuck up on Hillary Clinton and then Kamala Harris like that, it's like, okay.
Dude,
either A, you're worried about losing everything because you backed the wrong candidate,
right.
or B, they're paying you to back a candidate,
That's
which
exactly
is even
it.
worse.
Or it can be he's just supporting a candidate he wants to support.
It's possible.
Like he's doing the exact same thing we're trying to tell all of them to do.
I guess if that's the way we look at it.
We're trying to tell everyone at home to say what you believe in and speak out and say your opinion. He's doing exactly that. Just because Eminem believes one thing or another politically does not mean he's gonna not be remembered as a legend.
Now, to be fair,
sorry.
Oh, it's all good. Local politics. There are people actively working to close the primaries here in Michigan, and when they do that, it's probably going to break the back of the Democrat Party, because what they did in the last election was they basically were like, from what it sounds like talking to them, they were funding in the primaries. Like, I was talking about the primaries are where you can take something. They were funding candidates in the primaries against other candidates to prevent people from winning. So they did that with Ottawa Impact. They did it at the congressional level. So Michael Markey was the candidate most people in Ottawa County wanted to win, but they pushed Paul Hudson, who's not even from Ottawa County. He's from fucking Detroit. They pushed this guy, and of course Paul Hudson can't beat Hillary Scholten because everybody hates Paul Hudson.
Right.
And so like they do that. And so if we close the primaries, that makes it a lot more difficult for people of another party to vote in let's say you're a Democrat.
Yeah.
It makes it so that you can't vote in the Republican primary unless you're a Republican, registered Republican.
Steve, can I put you on the spot here?
Of course. Yeah.
So you mentioned the fact about, people getting primaried by, fake people from the other party.
Yeah.
I watched the entire podcast of you with two ladies that work in Ottawa County. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they were complaining about that. And
that's where I was learning this from. I wasn't sure about all this.
They said something to me that rubbed me the wrong way.
That's okay. Let's hear it.
I'll say what they said. So they were advocating for Republicans to do the same thing and go in the Democratic Party and act like a Democrat. And she said more Republicans need to do that. First of all, I don't think that's right. And I don't think that's acceptable in any way, shape, or form. I think that people should stay true to themselves. And if they have Republican beliefs, you run as a Republican. If you have Democratic beliefs, you run as a Democrat.
So where I would...
How do you feel about this?
I think you should run as... If you believe that you are the best person for the role and you best represent your community, you should run as whatever party will make you win, period. Now, that's not to disrupt. I don't think you should register as a Democrat to disrupt the Democrat Party, but I'm not a Republican. But I was willing to register as a Republican to beat Andy Barr because I knew I represented the community. But I'm also not a Democrat. So what do? Do I go as a Libertarian? That's silly. Then my ideas won't win. I'm going to go ahead and register as the party I know is most likely to win, because at the end of the day, their beliefs are all almost identical. Like, somebody says, oh, I'm a Democrat, and someone says, oh, I'm a Republican. But if you sit them down in a room, which I've done with Salim, somebody who actively ran as a Democratic candidate, we agree on 95% of stuff. And the stuff we disagree on isn't Republican or Democrat, which means that I could register as either party and I feel okay with myself. But if you do it to disrupt, that's the problem. So like what they did with Paul Hudson versus Michael Markey, that I actually have a problem with, because Paul Hudson shouldn't have even been in the race out here to begin with. First off, shouldn't have even been here. And then secondly, I think Michael Markey would have actually beat Hillary Scholten. I think he could have beaten her. I still would have voted for Salim because I wanted to see Salim win. I liked his beliefs, even though I disagreed on some stuff. He's a man I've had a conversation and a beer with. It's easier to vote for him than the man I don't know. Okay. You know, so that's the stance I take on it.
I feel you. I do, and I hear you, and I appreciate you saying your opinion, and that I respect that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to let the viewers know my opinion, and I would encourage everyone else to do the same, would be to run with the party you affiliate yourself with. You know, if you affiliate with the Republican Party and you agree with their stances, you run as a Republican, even if it's a Democratic district, try to influence those Democrats to see your side of the story. And if you're a Democrat and have Democratic views and you believe in the Democratic ideals, you run as a Democrat. And I don't think it's right to run as a Republican, and I don't think that's right.
But who defines what a Republican and a Democrat is?
Yourself. But for people to lie to the public and say that, you know, for people to believe that they're Republican, they agree with the Republican stance, but then not think they're going to win as a Republican, then say, I'm running as a Democrat. I don't think that's right. Yeah. I don't think that's right at all. But I want to get Brody's stance on this.
What? Just
like, how do you feel about a Republican that doesn't think he's going to win as a Republican, so he runs as a Democrat, or the other way around, where a Democrat would run as a Republican?
I mean, I don't think it's fair to them.
Why?
'Cause like, I don't know.
So,
dude,
okay.
Well, no, I just wanted to get.
No, I'm trying to think.
Sorry to put you on the spot there. I didn't know.
No, it's good. Come back to me.
Come back. All right.
Okay. So, I'm trying to think.
I'm not trying to spark it. Or
no, I don't think you're.
First of all, I listened to that whole episode. Yeah. Two great people. That was just, they said one thing
I'm not offended, and I doubt they'll be offended. But I look at it from the perspective of the parties are whatever you want. If you were to look at my political beliefs now, even though the left would call me a alt-right conservative or Republican, my beliefs were very much Democratic beliefs a decade ago or 15 years ago.
Very much so.
Pro ending the drug war. Pro ending the drug war, pro small government in terms of like get the government out of my life. I don't care if the gays get married. I don't care if a dude wants to trans. Literally don't care. Where I do have problems, are you pushing things on my kids? What's going on there?
Yeah.
I want to shape my children's lives. Okay, so my beliefs were Democrat beliefs a decade ago. I can, in good conscience, go register as a Democrat and be like, I'd like to bring the party back to the way it was.
Right.
But I could also, in good conscience, be like, I'm going to go run as a Republican because they're the only ones that seem to see any common sense in what I'm talking about right now. Either one is valid. And if you think your ideas best represent your community and you are going there being honest about yourself and what you're there to do, it doesn't matter what party you registered as. You did what it took to win to go represent your community. Yeah. So, like, I can go and be like, and I probably am going to run for Congress, and I'm probably going to run as a Republican. Initially, I was going to run as a Democrat.
Can I say something? Do it.
Yeah, well, that's the intention, but we got to see.
No. There's no but.
Do it?
Do it.
All right.
Say I'm gonna. And say
run
when.
For Congress.
When?
2026.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Shake on it.
All right.
Do it. He's running for Congress, and we're winning. We can do as many shows as we can together. Because I'll do the same thing, and I want to talk about West Michigan and Michigan politics. I want to finish
this thought, though, because I do want to finish this thought. No, it's important.
I'll shut up.
Because I was going to run as a Democrat in 2024. That was my intention, was to run as a Democrat just to break Hillary Scholten's back. But I thought I could win, and I thought I would do a good job. So it wasn't that it was just like I wanted to just remove her from the plan. I wanted to actually go to D.C. and do something. But as I think about it now, I'm like, okay, I'm obviously a Republican. Something has shifted here in West Michigan. or at least I'm obviously to everybody around me. They all think I'm a Republican. Something shifted here, and now I do think I can pull Democrats to my side of the table because of my beliefs on the drug war, on people transing as an adult, on gay marriage, and I think I'll be able to maintain Republicans because first off, I am a Trump supporter. I like small government, not a fan of paying taxes. You know what I mean? There's a lot of Republican stances I got. I can pull them both in.
So you're running, right? He's running for. I'm running for state senate in 2026, and my district of 31 is Holland, Grand Haven, Spring Lake, Zeeland, and Hudsonville. You live in Grand Haven. What district? What would be your district?
So that's I forget the number off the top of my head anymore, but it would be essentially Grand Haven, North Holland, South Muskegon and Norton Shores, and most of Grand Rapids. So, and that's the rub is like if I go as a Democrat, it's easier to win Grand Rapids. Okay. If you go as a Republican, it's easier to win.
So, yeah, but it's not. Yeah, but you seem like, I mean, do what you want. Stay true to yourself. I think you would personally. I mean, what party do you think you affiliate with the most? Because I don't think Democrats would listen to you and think that.
No, fuck no, they won't.
I don't think
I'm aware of that.
You know what I mean?
I'm aware.
That's why it's so funny because 20 years ago, it's literally so much different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like so much.
But I think these candid conversations that I'm having with people every week, this one right here, people are going to look at that, and there'll be people on the left that are going to be like, oh, fuck Steve, fuck the lo-fi guy. Yeah. But there's going to be people on the left who are going to be like, oh, you know what, he's right about some stuff too. And they're going to hear it, and hopefully I can win some people to my side. And then, like, as I talk to the people who would end up backing me if I do this, it's going to be Lodge Brothers that are backing me, and I'm going to be able to find party support from the Republicans, and I won't find that from the Democrats. I'll be fighting an uphill battle.
No,
the whole way.
you would have the winning senator supporting you as well.
There we go. That's what's up. So.
And I will say your district has Grand Haven in it, right? Mm-hmm. We're running in Grand Haven together.
Yep.
You know, that I think that speaks volumes, both the Republicans backing each other.
Yes.
And I fully support you running for Congress. And I think that nobody would better represent Grand Haven and the Muskegon area better than Lo-Fi. Steve, go by Steve. Go by Steve now. If you're running, you got to go by Steve. I
gotta go by Steve.
Switch it to Steve.
That I already you can't go by Lo-Fi.
You can't go by Lo-Fi. So Steve Stidham.
Or Stidham. Wife hates Stidham, so Stidham works.
Stidham. Well, Stidham, it when you see it probably
phonetically it's Stidham. Like if you were to sound it out, it sounds out as Stidham. But as culture goes, Stidham is how it's pronounced. So.
Stidham and Maas. Grand Haven. We're both going to Grand Haven. Shout out Grand Haven though. Oh, Grand Haven, incredible people, incredible beach.
Great.
The Coast Guard Festival.
Dude, shout out Coast Guard. Coast Guard's lit.
Speaking Brody, why do you like Coast Guard so much, Brody?
Because my buddies and I always have a great time there.
Is that why? I don't think the viewers think that's why.
No.
Why do you like
the dance? The street dance. It's always a great time.
Mm-hmm. Do you dance with anyone, Brody?
Just have a good time there. That's all I do.
What do you do? Like, what do you do? Do you dance with people?
Yeah, you'll always have someone. Who
Oh, do you have a special someone in your life?
No, I don't.
No. So there's a lot that you dance with a couple someones?
You might.
Do you?
Where is this going?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. I don't know. I will say, I think everyone that is at Coast Guard, you're going to see Steve and Kevin, J. Maas, myself at Coast Guard campaigning.
You'll also see me volunteering there too. Speaking of, so I do want to.
Big.
Yeah,
someone who's a part of the community.
So you see this right here, Freemason, and we have a lodge right there in downtown Grand Haven, and we open up our parking lot for parking. It's $20 a spot. I know it's a lot, but all of that money, not some of it, not a portion of it, all of that money goes to help kids with their college funds.
Nice.
And these aren't necessarily kids of Masons. This is open for anyone to apply. If you live in the Grand Haven community and you want to apply, man or woman, or I guess boy or girl at that age, you're open to apply to it. And if you have led a good example in your community, just trying to do the right thing, you could probably get a scholarship. And it's not about money. You could be the poorest person in the world, but if you're active at school, doing a good job, you're trying to make the world a little bit better of a place, guess what? We'll help cover some of your college costs. And that's what parking there means. It means you're going to be helping out some kids go to college. So I'll be volunteering doing that, sitting there at the cooler, taking money and putting that in a pot.
I was gonna go on a little tangent when you said you're volunteering, and then you said selling parking for $20, and then I was like, okay, all right, what are we doing here? But then you said all of it's going to a really great cause.
Exactly.
So you guys, Steve Stidham for Congress in Grand Haven, in Muskegon, in
Grand Haven, Muskegon, Norton Shores, and North Holland.
2026. Vote for him. We're gonna work together in Grand Haven because I'm fighting for Grand Haven as well.
And I'm gonna need help too. My attorney friend
you.
says,
I
don't think you got me. It's gonna be you'll help, but I talked to my good friend of mine. He said it's gonna cost about $1.5 million for me to pull it off.
No, it costs zero. Costs zero.
It's gonna be a little
how many voters are in your district?
I don't know. I got to look this up. I got information I got to learn now.
I'll tell you how. There's 200,000 registered voters in my district. It's a very, very large district, but I'm winning, and there's zero chance I lose. And if there's any competition, I do want to talk about this. If you have anyone on your show that is running for the state Senate position in 2026 in District 31, make sure you tell them they're losing. They're losing. No, I'm being dead serious because there's absolutely zero chance in the world that they will beat me.
Well, I generally don't tell people what they're going to do on my show. I just have conversations with them.
Well, I'll tell them
I will be like,
losing.
yeah, I'm backing Kevin, and this is what I've heard him talk about. But I'm definitely not going to be like, you're going to lose. They will never come back on my show.
I'll say it then. You're going to lose. You are going to lose. You got to speak things into existence.
Yeah, all right.
And Steve is going to win.
When I do this,
no, don't.
No, okay, well, I'm going to win. Is what's
when I
happen.
do it,
and then I'm going to go to DC, and you're either going to hate me or love me, and then they may end up killing me. We'll find out.
Hold on, I do. No, if you, because my name is actually officially on the registered ballot for 2026. If you need any,
I'm going to need advice and help on that.
It is a process.
The toughest part about this is I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up.
It's a lot harder than you think.
The toughest part about this actually is going to be I'm pretty sure Salim's going to run again as a Democrat, and if he beats Hillary Scholten, I have to run against a friend, which is going to be tough. It is going to be tough for me. However, you know what the best part about that is? If I lose, which I won't,
I
can trust Salim will do a good job, and you'll trust I'll do a good job. So you're going to get 2 Ottawa County locals that are going to do good. Like that's what's fixing to happen. So
he's winning.
I'm going to win. All right.
And you're going to get 2 of the best shows in West Michigan. Like how sick would that be?
No.
Everyone knows if they live in West Michigan, they know that the people that represent West Michigan, the congressman and the senator, they both have shows and podcasts that they openly talk about how they feel.
Yeah,
what better world do we live in than that?
When I win, I'm going to have to hire Ted and Sam because I'm going to need to continue the podcast, which means they're going to have to go between DC and Holland to pull that off.
DC? Oh, you're running for DC?
Yeah, I'm running at the federal level, not the state level.
Do it.
No, I like
Do it.
Luke. I don't want to take Luke out of his job.
Then you're going to have to go through the state. I also, because I'm multi-county, so I also had to file through the state.
Okay.
I know some people that would be able to help you. And,
yeah, that's what I was saying. When I was like, it's going to be $1.5 million. I wasn't kidding. I've already talking to an attorney about this and everything else to figure out
what does that consist of, though?
Hey, no,
endorsements, getting ads places, because like my podcast is going to carry me.
I'm cutting out. By the way, I'm cutting this out as well. I'm cutting out everything you said about Facebook because you need to be on Facebook.
That's okay. Cut it out. Whatever you got to do, man.
For you.
I appreciate it.
Because you do not want. Yeah,
I'm already shadow banned on there. We'll see what I can do with it. It's Boomer Book though. I need to be on there though. Like
you need to.
For real.
And Mark Zuckerberg is an inspiration. No, like for real. He's
done a lot of great.
He's done so much great. You know the amount
by the way, I love that nail gun though. I've been noticed. Sorry, I didn't mean to go ADD on you. You got that nail gun right there. I have that exact gun at home.
Really?
It's peak.
Yeah. No. Hey, you know what? You know what inspired me to get that nail gun though?
Getting the job done, probably.
No.
What?
No.
That's when I got mine.
I took the risk paying more and getting that nail gun. Okay. You know who inspired me to take that risk? Mark Zuckerberg.
There we go. All right.
Mark Zuckerberg. He said, and I quote, the biggest risk of all is not taking risks at all.
You're a craftsman guy?
Absolute G. Shout out Mark Zuckerberg.
It's what I could afford when I was doing my house. So if I was a pro, I would get something better than a craftsman.
Hold up, you built your house?
No, sorry. Remodeling the inside of my last house.
Well, that's sick. How?
How did I remodel it?
Yeah.
He just did.
I just did it. I manifested it.
He manifested.
I literally manifested it. I was like, okay, we're moving. I want to make money on
Take your own advice, for real.
Yeah.
Take your own advice.
All right. I will. I'll take it.
You did. You just did.
I did.
You just did.
It's on tape.
You just did.
I can't
just
unspeak
do it.
it.
We shook on it. You guys saw that.
Yeah,
we shook on it.
All right. So
we'll shake on it again.
All right,
Let's
I'm going
go.
to run and I'm going to win, and that's what's going to happen. I am going to be involving community. I bounce my ideas off of my lodge brothers, Democrats and Republicans, and they generally support what I'm doing, and I have both parties listening to my podcast. So, like, we're doing that. I got to keep growing the podcast. Tune in, guys. It's every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have on different guests in the community. If you're a Democrat and you're watching this, I am not anti-Democrat, and I would love to have you on this show. If you got something you want to talk about, or not his show, but on my show. If you got something you want to talk about.
His show, link in description.
Yeah, you guys want to talk about it, you want to be a part of it, you disagree with me on something, I would love to have that conversation. Let's do it. Come on tape, come hang out with me. That's the biggest thing we lack in America right now, is we're all afraid to talk to each other. We're all angry. We're all isolated and alone, and that's what abusers do to their victims. That's what's been done to us as America. When you think you can't have a conversation at the dinner table because you don't want to offend somebody, well, now you're just voting against each other's best interests.
Right.
We have to start having these conversations again. And if you come on the show, I'll buy you some beer. We'll have a couple beers. We'll talk about it. Maybe you'll think I'm a dumbass, or maybe you'll think I'm right about something. But hopefully we find a common ground when we meet in the middle, and the world gets a little bit better than it was yesterday.
I'm going to say one last thing.
Yep.
Your show, check out his show right after you subscribe to TUEBOR with Kevin Maas. Subscribe, and Brody Manidi. Subscribe and follow him on Rumble. His links are down in the description below. X. But I wanted to get a quick round of applause. Steve Stidham for Congress in the year 2026.
Thank you.
That's huge. That's
I'll
huge.
do the Trump dance.
I love it. Dude, he's got the best dance moves, though.
Oh, he does, though,
like,
doesn't he?
unique as heck.
He's just an icon.
He's an icon for real.
Oh, I'm glad he won. I'm so glad he won. I'm actually glad he lost. Before we go, I'm so glad he lost in 2020. The nation is going to be a better place because of it. Because, again, deep state, all that weird, shitty stuff that was going on.
Yeah.
All of these people, we all know who they are now. We get to vote against them, which is great for the ones who can be voted out. And Trump got to see each and every person who was actually working, not each of them, but most of the people who were working against him, and he's adapted.
Yeah,
he's adapted. He's brought in an Elon Musk, a Vivek. I might disagree with them on some stuff, and I do like the H-1B visa crap, but he's learning, he's adapting, and it's going to amount for a better 4 years.
I just talked to a guy, Kyle. He was going on about the H-1B visas, but I do want to get to more local issues.
Yep.
I'm Kevin, and I'm running for state senate.
Vote for him, he's going to win.
Yes, sir. And Steve Stidham is running for U.S. Congress, and he's going to win.
Let's go.
And now we're going to talk about I want to explore some big picture issues in Michigan that we might face in the next decade. So, Steve, I want to ask you, what issues do you see West Michiganders facing in the next decade?
Well, there's the copper mine up north that they're wanting to build. I'm not necessarily anti-mining, but how do we do this?
Where is this copper mine?
In the Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
In the Upper Peninsula of
and
Michigan.
I'm not necessarily anti-mining. I'm very much, I want to see America make money and Americans make money. But at the moment, it would be owned and controlled by Canada, our Canadian company, which is like,
they're going to be a U.S. state, though.
Well, I hope not, but maybe a U.S. territory if we want to do them like Puerto Rico. I'm on board, but I definitely don't want to give them.
He doesn't want to give them voting power.
I don't at all. No, America will go California.
You would not see a Trump getting elected if there was Canada voting.
However, Greenland, when we bring you in, I want to see you be a state. Absolutely, I want Greenland to be a state. Let those guys vote. They were all wearing MAGA hats when Trump's son went to go visit that place. So,
really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Greenland very much does not like Denmark and likes America. So that's where the big thing is with that is like they're like Denmark's like, well, we won't allow it. And it's like Greenland doesn't even want to be a part of your country. Greenland's got all these natural resources and you won't let them profit off it because you suck. So if America's going to let them profit, hell yeah. However, only if it's America. I would like to see American companies doing American things in America. So
do you think it would be a 51st state?
That'd be pretty cool.
That would be really cool.
But it just doesn't sound as cool.
If they're 51st state?
It sounds... That's why Puerto Rico is not a state. I don't care what anyone has to say. The only reason that Puerto Rico is not a state is because the number 50 just sounds so cool. That's why Floyd Mayweather came out of retirement again, because he wanted that number 50. He's 50-0, and nobody can tell him anything else because he's 50-0.
Right.
We have 50 states. That's what everyone knows. Like 51.
I get it.
Do a poll in the street and ask people how many states there are.
Oh, dude, that's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's
I have seen those.
Wait, I'm going to put a
sad.
poll on my Instagram right now.
Do
How
it.
many polls?
So,
okay.
so that's a big issue, those mines. If it's going to be done, it needs to be done by an American company, and we need some extreme oversight on it. And I don't mean what they're saying is oversight. We need extreme oversight because that copper is going to destroy the environment if it's allowed to spill into Lake Superior or into any of the watersheds. It's a big deal.
Right.
So I'm pretty solidly against it. China's been trying to build battery plants here in America. We have Congress people, including Hillary Skolden and Alyssa Slotkin, as she was a congresswoman, signing non-disclosure agreements on these battery plants that China is trying to build here. That is insane and should be a crime.
That's insane.
And if when I win in D.C., politicians signing non-disclosure agreements on foreign entities putting stuff in our country, yeah, we're going to make that a crime. I will put legislation forward to make that a crime. I will be putting legislation forward to end the drug war. It's got to go. It's got to be ended. We can't just keep doing this to these people. It's not working. Whatever it is, all it's doing is making everything worse. I'm not going to go against gay marriage. I don't care if the gays marry. You might see me make a run against marriage licenses as a whole to get rid of those, but like gay people getting married, I don't care. And mining,
do whatever you want to do.
For sure,
like,
exactly. As long as you're not hurting
gay,
anybody.
Right.
And none of us are gay, but do whatever you got to do.
As long as you're not hurting people, who cares? Like, who seriously gives a shit?
That sounded so weird. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Mining, bringing the automotive industry back, incentivizing car companies to be building in Michigan.
Yes.
That is something. If you're at state level senator,
oh my
you
God,
need to be working towards that.
100%.
Incentivizing the build, because right now there isn't a whole lot of incentive for Ford to build in Michigan.
I said that. I said that on your podcast.
Let's go build it in Mexico because Joe
it's-
Biden doesn't give a
Yes.
shit.
Right.
Like that's their incentive.
stupid,
American
dude.
production, especially in Detroit.
More
Shout out
jobs, too.
That's why we have 600,000 people in Detroit compared to 1.8 million in the 50s.
I mean,
Right.
at the end of the day, I love Toyota. I love them. I worked for them. Great company. I don't have a bad thing to say about Toyota. But when you have to say that a Japanese automotive maker is the most American manufactured car on the planet,
Yeah.
The most American truck, and it's not even American company.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
messed up, dude.
exactly.
What?
Like, yeah, exactly.
So it's an American car, but it's not even an American company.
Right.
That's what Teddy said.
Yeah.
Because like it actually is. It actually is. I don't know if you guys could hear that over the mic. I just wanted to say it, but can I wanted to can I bounce? Or before I forget, I'm gonna do a video. So just so you guys can see, none of you, some people think I have a teleprompter and a script when I do these Instagram videos. You can see I'm doing it right now. Hello, everybody. I hope that you guys are enjoying your Saturday and having a beautiful day. We are on the show right now on TUEBOR. We got a special guest right here. Brody, you want to say hi?
How we doing?
We're enjoying today, a beautiful Saturday, but I wanted to ask a quick poll question. But before that, we have new merch out right now, and it says that every little thing is gonna be all right, and I think that every little thing is gonna be all right. Literally, no matter what, if you're going through a tough time, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. I promise you. You know, it can only go up from here, and it's going to be okay. No matter what, we can only work together and inspire others. And I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart that it's going to be okay. And I hope that if you want to, you don't have to, but if you want to represent that brand and wear the merch, you definitely can, right on Instagram. But answer this poll question right here. We are very curious. Oh, shoot. All right. I just wanted to do that quick video for the poll. That's actually clutch because I promoted the shop and I did the poll, which that is going to get more viewers on the whatever it is.
No, I'm listening.
But-
I'm all for advice. I'm like,
So we're talking politics here, Brody. I'm winning the state Senate election 2026.
Right.
He is winning the U.S. Congress election in 2026.
Insane, but I'm for it.
How do you feel? Do you have any questions for us? Because we have, I went through a campaign. I went through a giant L, and I'm not planning on losing again. But do you have any questions for us, or like what?
What are your policies? Your main policies?
I have a big three, but I want you to go first.
and the drug war, trading in Congress, it's got to go.
Right.
They can't be making trades like this anymore, or their family members making trades related to the bills they're passing. That's got to go. The drug war and bringing manufacturing back to America, and then as a fourth, absolutely shutting down the Federal Reserve and going back to a sound currency again.
Okay.
I will make that my mission. Where you will hear me talking about that, like with the Ron Paul of old, like doing that. And I guess actually fifth policy. If a bill is so long and so convoluted that my constituents can't read it and understand it, I will vote no on it out of sheer fucking principle. I will vote no on it.
Love that.
Because if you hand me a 1,000-page spending bill and ask me to vote yes on this thing, and you don't give me the time to read it, and then not only that, for it to make sense, where I can go hand it to any layman in my district and they can be like, I do or I do not support that, I will vote no out of sheer principle.
Good.
Out of sheer principle, I'll vote no on it.
I'm going to say my big three as well. For the state Senate election, District 31, in the cities of Holland, Grand Haven, Spring Lake, Zeeland, and Hudsonville, and a little bit of Jenison, District 31. My big top three issues. Number one, mental health.
Yes.
The mental health, right now the system is corrupt, and we need to fix it. Psychiatrists are incentivized to prescribe and diagnose after the first 30-minute telehealth consultation.
That's
ridiculous, and that needs to change. Number two, lifeguards. We have had a ridiculous amount of drownings, especially at Holland State Park and Grand Haven State Park.
Yep.
We need lifeguards, or at least, if not a mandate, I don't like mandates, so I'm not going to support a mandate. But at least give the counties and the townships the opportunity and the ability to put lifeguards there if they so choose. Right now, Park Township can't do anything; their hands are tied behind their backs. And number three, small business support, meaning we need to incentivize small businesses to invest back into their small business, grow their small business, incentivize small businesses staying in Michigan, and incentivize, the car industry, small businesses staying in Michigan, manufacturing in Michigan, and being made in Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
Those are my top three.
That's what's up.
But that was I learned from my lesson. So my campaign experience in 2024, back whole last year.
You're getting old.
But the campaign experience then, I didn't do a big three. I said, one Park Township, 20 priorities, and I listed 20 priorities.
Oh man, that's tough.
I got feedback from a lot of people saying, like, you need to stick to just a couple. That's too many for people to look at.
Okay.
And my head's like, what? Like, that just means I know what I'm talking about and I care. But then I realized, okay, you know what? I should take their advice. I have a lot of things I want to do, but you got to stick to a top three. What's your most important values and what's most important to you? These top three are most important to me. I'm an entrepreneur made in Michigan. I have a cousin who died to suicide, made in Michigan, both in Michigan, and a teammate at the University of Michigan died by suicide. Yep. And I know friends personally who have drowned at Holland State Park. People from our school at Macatawa Bay Middle School, and also
Holland Christian.
Yeah. I don't know if they want to. Yeah, but Holland Christian. We know many people die due to drowning, especially our age. Yep. It's ridiculous, and that's why those are my top three. Do you have any personal connection to your top three, or why are they most important to you?
My son's named after my cousin who passed away from overdose, and we don't know whether it was just peak overdose or whether there's fentanyl in it. We're not entirely sure. I'm named after someone who passed away from a heroin overdose, and so the drug war has been something that has been involved in my life, whether I would like it or not.
How do we end the drug war? First of all, I'm very sorry.
No, that's fine. I would prefer to see legalization of most, but not all. Heavy taxing, and legalization's vague, and I'm leaving it vague intentionally. Whether it's you got to get a prescription, you got to go to a pharmacy, there could be a way to track it. But I would like all of that money.
But then we turn into Oregon.
For sure,
Washington.
this is a possibility. But what I'd like to see is that money turned around, and then instead of dumping it into DARE, where it's ineffectual, because I'm sure you guys went through DARE as well, where it's ineffectual, we dump it into actual propaganda that encourages kids to not do drugs anymore. I mean, if you go turn on the radio, all you gotta do is go turn on the radio, and there are a plethora of songs that are talking about doing tabs and everything else. this isn't helping. This is making it worse. And I think if we can go through a legalization process, and again, whether it's prescription or you go to a pharmacy and they're able to track what is going on, you take that money, you dump it into getting people not to do it and into rehab for the people who are doing it. And we create a culture that's built around, hey, maybe don't be an idiot and do drugs. Because right now the culture is, oh, drugs are cool, man. Even in Oregon, I'm sure it's, oh, drugs are cool. Well, when it's illegal,
It's not cool.
No,
it is not cool.
It's not cool.
It's really not.
And where I'm going with this is like, I watched what my cousin
David
went through and what he was willing to do. He had been hooked on heroin from the age of, I think, 12 or 13 is what my cousin Joe was telling me. Hooked on it from like puberty, essentially.
That's
puberty.
Insane,
his body was built. And if he tried to stop doing it, his body would feel like it's dying. You know what I mean? It hurts. Everything physically hurts. And then on top of that, he becomes a dad. He's got a couple of daughters. He's got his wife, Phoebe. And every time his addiction flares up, that blowback on his entire family. And this kid never stood a chance. It's not like he was an adult and was like, oh, I'm going to go make a stupid choice. This is a 12-year-old idiot. You know what I mean? Like, that's what David was. He's a 12-year-old idiot. Made a mistake, and that mistake cost him his life.
Yeah.
And I think about the
I'm
blowback.
sorry for your loss.
It happens. But I think about the blowback that his daughters felt when police would come in and arrest him, when he couldn't get a job, when the cost of this artificially inflated drug is so much and his body is so physically addicted to it, he's willing to break into his best friend and cousin Jamie's house in order to steal his shit so that he can go make the pain stop. You know, like what we are doing right now is not working. Sending him to prison didn't work. No. David went to prison. He went to prison. He served his time. He got out and he went right back to using. Mm-hmm. So whatever we're doing is not working. The prohibition's not working. We need to figure out a different tack to it. So I don't know what ending the drug war means. You know what I mean? I don't have it fully formed out. Maybe I need to talk to people more educated than myself. Maybe there's a better path forward. But what we are doing is not working, and it hasn't been working. Now, when it comes to something like fentanyl, I agree with Trump. Treat it like a war. What they're doing is an act of war in our country. I am A-okay with going in and wiping cartels out. Yeah. And maybe that's how we end the drug war. Maybe we do still keep it illegal, but we make it so difficult to get these drugs that now you don't have children, like my cousin, finding it at 13 years old. Like, oh, okay, you're importing it into our country. Here's the National Guard. Here's 22 cents. I'll let God sort you out. You know what I mean? If it's being imported into the country.
Well, you know, Trump was gonna. Well, first of all, thank you for sharing that story about your cousin. I think all the viewers can appreciate that, and probably a lot of them can resonate with that.
I'm sure they can. It's a pandemic in our country right now. It's not good what's happening.
And that is a way we can solve the problem. That is a way. And no matter what. See, this is why politicians should have shows, because people hear an ideal, people hear something, they don't know why. They just will. Drugs. They should. Oh, that's an awful take. That's an awful take. I'm sure. Some people are going to say that about anything, but you guys, you know why he said that? Because he has a personal connection and a personal story from something extremely personal. Mm-hmm. That what happened, and it's the same with me about all my big three, and I'm sure that's the same with you about your big four. So I did want to ask you about what. The next question I have. This.
Fine, ask it.
It sounds so. I don't like being like cocky, but it's not a very. This is not a very humble question.
Just ask the question.
What did you learn from my campaign journey and election? It's not a good question. Sorry.
Write-in candidacies never work. And for every person who did a write-in candidacy, and I've had several of them on my show, they all lost. There's a whole process that you got to go through. Now, first,
get on the ballot.
For the ones who did lose, they were beaten in the primaries, and so they were just making a swing at it anyways. Mm-hmm. And I voted for them. I wrote their names in. However, if aside from that, put the time in, do it early, get your name on the ballot, and full tilt, full send. Do it the right way. And like I talked to my lodge brothers about you, actually.
Really?
Yeah, we definitely discussed you.
Let's go.
And every one of their opinions were the same. I'm not going to vote for him because he didn't put in the legwork to go get himself on the ballot to begin with. Every one of them had that same opinion.
Yo, it takes okay. Oh, first of all, thank you for your love, but it takes no work to put your name on the ballot.
But
it takes more work editing one video, and I posted 100 of them.
But Kevin, that's
That even says even more.
But Kevin, Kevin, and that's their point. That's exactly their point.
Yeah.
That's exactly their point.
I was actually
Okay, well, the Lodge brothers would really appreciate. Shout out to Lodge brothers. I'm sure I would like to meet you. I'm sure I would like you guys. You guys seem like great people. But I got my name on the ballot. I'm the very first one. Mm-hmm. There's 38 state senators in Michigan. I'm the first one to have my name on the ballot.
And they would respect you for doing what you're doing, because like one of the things with Masonry is you don't just like often being tried and never denied, and that's as far as you'll get from me on that. But basically, you tried to do a thing and you failed at it. Mm-hmm. But now you're trying again, and you've learned from it, and you're doing better this time. Yeah, that's something that you would gain a lot of respect for.
You know what people I got from a lot of people? They got mad at me for saying I failed, but I'm like, yo, I failed, and then they're like, you didn't fail, you learned so much. Yeah, I learned a lot, but
no, you failed.
Yo, I
but
failed.
That's okay.
I lost. Some people are so afraid to fail, and they never want to admit that they failed, and I don't think that's right. I'm some call me like hyper accountable. Well. No, that's a bad word. Like hyperactive, that's for sure. But hyper accountable, where and it's good to be hyper accountable, because if you hold yourself accountable for all of the things that you can control, then there's nobody else to blame. Right. And when there's other people to blame, there's hate, negativity, and animosity that you feel. Exactly. And for me, I blame nobody for what's happened to me. I blame nobody, and I praise nobody. It's I'm me. I'm me, and nobody controls me. Same with you, Steve. Nobody controls Steve. But I wanted to ask Steve about some recent headlines. Yeah. There's been some trending stories in West Michigan recently. Some very trending stories in West Michigan. Did you hear about these trending stories?
No, enlighten me.
These are trending, extremely trending. Trending. So, like, I think they're trending. People are scrolling in West Michigan. Yeah. Okay. People are scrolling on TikTok. They're scrolling on Instagram. Maybe even swiping on Snapchat, or even swiping on Tinder. Oh, damn. Okay. In West Michigan, we had a politician who's running for an election in 2026. Yeah. We had him announce. We did. And say that he is going to post campaign advertisements on Tinder. I did not say that. How do we feel? How do we feel about this? Wait, I don't know. No, there was a politician who did this. I thought you were like implying because I announced. I thought you were implying. Oh no, I'm not talking about you. I'm happily married. There is a politician in West Michigan who said he was going to campaign on Tinder. How do we feel about this? I think that's probably. I think it's smart. I also think it's stupid. Stupid, yeah. Can I give you guys some other news? What? That politician was me. Okay. No. Low key, it was a joke, and I posted it on Snapchat, and everyone texted me, "Please do not do this. Do not do." I'm not going to do that, but I did. Sam said it's a match made in heaven. No. You guys, I just like to I thought it'd be funny, and I announced. I asked my Snapchat people if I should do this, and everyone said no, so I'm not going to. But Tinder would probably ban you for it. I know. Don't advertise on Tinder, guys. Don't even use Tinder. Tinder's not. I don't think Tinder's. Apps like Tinder is how you get a Matt Gaetz. Well, Brody's actually he's a big dude. He's what am I? He's a big like a. You know people. No, you know people that get. I'm almost a boomer. I don't know people. I'll tell you. I am too. I am too high key. I'm just big. No. Well, yeah, he's big in all ways. Shut up. Gosh, so do we talk about his shoe size now? Yeah. What's going on? Okay, Brody just has a way about himself. Like all the ladies are watching right now. They're like, "Yo, what is Brody's Instagram? Yo, I want to follow him, and I want to." They're all thinking that. So how do you do it? How do I think because Brody lives in West Michigan, guys. West Michigan is home. Don't give him my Addy though. West Michigan is no. This is for the algorithm. I don't want any stalkers. This is for the clips. West Michigan, guys. We love West Michigan, but Brody's from here, and he has been voted on TUEBOR, the #1 show in the world, that he's the most attractive person in West Michigan. How do we feel?
That's a crazy
for real.
take.
Yeah,
That's a crazy take.
first of all, you beat out a lot of people. Like, for
Like
real.
who?
Every other person in West Michigan? West Michigan, you're all beautiful, for real.
This
but
was-
like, you won. So how do we feel about it?
Feeling great, man. You know, I think I'm gonna find that special one. Just hit me up at Brody McGeaney on Instagram. That's about it, to be honest. I mean,
Are you looking for a relationship right now, Brody?
To be honest, no. I just want to focus on myself.
Playing hard to get.
I got some relationship advice. I got relationship advice I'm going to give you guys. Being an old man, okay?
Yo, I've worked
this is
at
good
Vista
advice.
Springs with the terminally ill. Do not call yourself an old man. You're a smart man. He's a sharp, smart man.
Way back in the day, when I was a single dad, I dated this one girl, and I was tool and die apprentice is what I was at the time. So worked with my hands. Didn't make a lot of money, but I did okay. And I was dating this woman. She was older than me. She was like, I don't know. I was in my 20s. She was in her 30s or 40s, something. I don't remember all the stuff anymore. But we were like screwing around. We were doing it. You know, the whole Tinder thing, basically. And I went to the Anchor, whatever it's called, that bar that's on the water over on the south side of Lake Mac. Boatworks, yeah. I went to Boatworks with her on her birthday, and she got all trashed. She got super trashed, like blackout drunk.
Yeah.
And she told me that I did not make enough money to be with her when she was drunk. She told me I didn't make enough money to be with her. I was basically like just a fuckboy.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
Was she drunk? She was drunk?
She was trashed. And she was telling me this stuff.
You know what?
No,
people say
what
drunk.
they think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so she told me.
What's the saying?
Sober thoughts are drunk sayings.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
And so she's telling me all this stuff, and I'm just like, you know, fuck you. Like, that's what I'm thinking in my head, you know, like, okay. And and she didn't know.
I would have taken that personally.
Well, she didn't know that my dad owned a couple of pizza places, and that I was an heir to this stuff and everything. I was doing tool and die because it's what supported my family.
Right.
But at that point in my life, when my old man passes, I'm now going to be one of the heirs to this, and so I didn't tell her any of this stuff. And so she's telling me all this, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, okay.
What else is she saying?
Yeah.
Just that. That's pretty much it. I don't make it. She's used to she's used to driving a Hummer. She's used to being able to spend money on whatever she wants, whenever she wants. She's used to be able to go on all these vacations. And I'm just like, holy fuck.
You don't live in reality.
Yeah. And and she was a divorcee. And so I'm just like, okay. And so.
Makes sense.
I post on Facebook that, I went on a date with this chick and that she said all these things to me because she was blackout drunk. She didn't know it. So she's mad at me, cussing me out on Facebook Messenger. And I'm like, it was you.
It was you, bro.
It was you. And she's like, no, it wasn't. And I was like, yes, it was. You were blacked out. You told me exactly this. And I actually said to her, I was like, you want to know what? My dad owns a bunch of Little Caesars. So I dodged a bullet. And, so there is that, and then, but I didn't just come to that realization to begin with. There was a woman I dated before. I have to be careful how I explain this one because it'll be wrong of me to do it in a certain way. But she absolutely was a gold digger, and she was with me because she knew I was dumb enough to tell her my dad owned some Little Caesars, and so she thought she was going to get something from me, and it caused a whole lot of chaos in my life and a lot of trauma. And I learned my lesson from that. You can't just tell people that, and so. I didn't tell her what it was my dad did for a living, and I followed through on that advice. So once I became an engineer for Tesla, I still told women I was just a tool and die maker. I would absolutely tell women I was a die maker just so I could get their opinion.
Yeah.
And then, to take that a step further, my wife, Trina, greatest woman ever, my best friend.
Shout out Lo-Fi's wife, Tina.
Trina.
Shout out.
Trina. And she,
Sorry.
it's okay.
Trina.
She saw all the trauma and stuff that I went through as a single dad.
Yeah.
And saw me living in a house with one of my good friends, basically a bachelor pad while being a dad at the same time, full-time dad.
Yeah.
She saw all this stuff and she knew I wasn't making the most money. I had shitty credit at the time. And this woman was like, you know what? I like you. I want to be with you. And my wife fucking hot. Like she's hot and she's awesome and she's nice and she wanted to be with me even though like my life was in such a tough spot. And it's like, that's how you know it's real right there. Like she didn't give a shit. She didn't know I was going to be an engineer or have a podcast or do TikToks or any of this shit. She didn't know this. She's just like, oh, that's Hot Steve right there. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, hey,
shout out Hot Steve. Shout out Hot Steve.
And the advice is, there we go.
There we go. Shout out Hot Steve. Shout out Hot Steve.
The rambling advice is for you guys is if you find a woman, be friends with her, do it before you got any kind of power or money.
Right.
Because, you know, she's there. She's there, ride or die. She's there. You know, if you find them after the power and money,
it's hard.
There's always that question.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry, I'm on my phone.
How do you even figure that out?
I'm posting on my story.
If you have followers and money like that, how do you figure out they're the right one?
Prenup. That's about it. that's the only way you figure that out.
Do you think that everyone should get a prenup?
Not necessarily. It depends. I think in my case, no. A prenup would have been stupid and wrong.
What if you guys get divorced and she were to take? This is how a lot of people think. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to offend any women out there because prenups scare women because if they're a stay-at-home mom and they're providing for the family, they don't want a prenup because if they get divorced, they're screwed. They haven't worked other than providing.
If my wife's a stay-at-home mom, which she is, and we were to get a divorce, which we won't because she's fucking awesome and I'm awesome, so we're not getting a divorce. But if that happened, she deserves half of everything and then some because she's raising fucking kids.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would like.
But what?
Like that would be my attitude.
But there's always others. There's always others who get prenups and who don't get prenups, and this upsets people sometimes, but it's just true. They don't get prenups, and a year after marriage, they get divorced, and the wife takes everything, and the guy's worth billions of dollars.
And in those cases, prenup is what you better do.
If you're in that scenario,
absolutely prey in a predator situation for either side. If you're a woman and you're wealthy and you're with a man who's got nothing, I would be thinking twice about it. And where it comes in with like the single mom, or not the single moms, but the stay-at-home mom, they have invested their lives into raising their children.
Right.
That is a job. Anybody who thinks being a stay-at-home mom isn't a job, any men who out there, like genuinely, fuck you. Like, and I know I'm running for Congress, but if you think a woman staying at home taking care of the kids is not a job, a full-time, more than full-time job, on par with anything you are doing at your office, you're an a-hole. Like, you're an a-hole, and she probably will divorce you and take you for everything. Like, that's not okay. They are working, man. Those women out there, all the stay-at-home moms out there, you are shaping the future generations of America. That's a great thing. And to the stay-at-home dads.
Shout out all the moms out there.
Because there are stay-at-home dads, too.
Yeah,
you're doing the same thing.
Is.
You are shaping future generations. Good for you guys. And to the people who think they aren't working, you guys suck. For real.
For real.
You guys suck.
No, that's so real. Yeah.
Hey, well, I think that they don't just suck. They have some room to grow.
They do. Yeah, that's probably a better way to explain.
They have some room to grow. Sorry, I've been on my phone. I'm just posting on my Instagram story. But I wanted to get some opinions on this real quick. There's been a lot of talk recently. There's been a lot of talk. They've been saying Steve Stidham is running for Congress.
Yeah.
Steve Stidham is running for Congress. He says he's going to win.
Yeah.
Who do you think? Because for me, I'm probably not going to have any competitors because they know I'm going to win. I know I'm going to win. There's nobody beating me. Do you think that there's anyone that you could see running against you and beating? You beating them?
Me beating them?
Yeah. Who do you think might try to beat you, but you're obviously going to end up
Are we talking in the primaries or the federal? Or in the general?
The primaries.
In the primaries? I don't know who would challenge me in the primaries and win. Nobody?
You don't think... There's never been an election where nobody ran.
But I don't know the names of anyone who would be challenging me. And even if they are challenging me, I'm going to win. So it doesn't matter what their name is.
Steve Stidham, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm going to win. It doesn't matter what their name is.
Steve Stidham.
He's for the people.
Like, at the end of the day, now who am I going to go up against at the federal level or at the general level? I'll go up against Hillary Scholten or Salim Al-Shatal, and I'll win there.
Oh, she's the incumbent?
Yeah, she's the incumbent. It's Hillary Scholten. Yeah, she sucks. So I'm going to go up against her.
You're done.
Shit. Dude, people love incumbents for some reason.
Yeah, but nobody likes her.
You don't have to worry about her until the general, and by then we're winning for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
We are winning.
We'll win the general. I'll cause such a fucking media storm that like I will polarize the piss out of people enough that I'll go win because of it. Like
as long as when you win the primaries, you're winning the general.
The big thing.
Simple.
The big thing.
That makes you like 50 times more motivated. I feel like.
Now, one goal I have, if I win, it is a goal of mine. I don't know if I'm going to be able to achieve it. I would like.
He's achieving it.
I would like to keep my job that I do. I like being an engineer, and I don't want to do it. And if that means I have to drop back to an advisory role or a part-time role, where when I'm in Grand Rapids, I'm doing tool and die engineering, I would like to do that. And my reasoning behind that is because politicians come back to their home areas, and then they spend all their time campaigning and just like doing everything but being a part of that community.
Right.
And if I go to DC to do my job out there in DC and then come back and do engineering work, and that's what I'm doing, that is my campaign right there. I'm doing my job. My job isn't necessarily to be in Congress.
Right.
My job is I'm an engineer and I'm representing my community in Congress. I don't want that to go away.
You're living in reality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would like to keep that going. So
yeah.
Shout out reality.
Right.
I live in reality. A lot of people think I don't live in reality because I have these goals these goals that seem crazy. I know I'm getting it done. I know I'm winning, but they think I'm crazy. They think I'm outlandish. They think you're outlandish for running. What do you say to them?
Don't at me, bro. I'm gonna win.
Let's go.
What else is there to say at that point?
Hey, you know what? I have some other questions for you. So there's been some heavy topics talked about on this show, and I think we all can appreciate the heavy topics and how deep we're getting. But are you guys down for some rapid fire questions?
Sure.
Do it.
You guys are down? Okay, so rapid fire. You guys can just spit, and then I'll ask another one. This one's for Steve. Steve, what makes you motivated in local politics?
What makes me motivated in local politics? I want to make the world around me a better place. Be the change you want to see in the world. I've got a kid in school, in local school. I want her to have a good school. I want her to interact with kids and it not be a bunch of lunatics in an asylum. I'm homeschooling 2 of my kids because the school system's so jacked up. I'm not willing to put my kids through that. I would like to be able to put my kids in public school.
Right.
I went to public school. I would like that for my kids. However, there's some weird shit going on, and I don't want my kids to be a part of it. And I'd pull my oldest if I could, but I can't. So, rocking a hard place. So, there you go.
Brody, rapid fire questions. Who are you voting for 2026 State Senate?
Steve and Kevin.
State Senate.
For State Senate?
Yeah.
Oh, Kevin Maas, 2026.
What's up?
The most. I said I want to be humble in 2025. I am so sorry. I didn't. Okay. Another rapid fire question for Brody. Brody, when you wake up every day, what do you think about? What's the first thing that pops up in your mind?
First thing that pops in my head, get to work.
Get to work.
Get to work safely.
Where do you work?
Huh?
Where do you work?
National Bulk Equipment.
How do you like your job?
It's pretty good.
I heard your boss is a fantastic guy. Is that true?
He's pretty good.
He's pretty good.
He's pretty good. Yeah.
I just heard.
Shout out Andrew.
Shout out Andrew. I heard he's a great guy.
Yeah. No, he's good.
Yeah.
Who'd you hear that from?
I'm just saying that.
The people.
But I'm sure he's a great. Dude, if Brody works for him, he's a great guy. You know. Oh wait. Is that the family connection?
No.
No. Okay. Sorry. Never mind.
No.
Still a great guy. I'm sure you're
great guy.
Yeah, great guy.
Splendid guy. Some say he's the best guy.
Another rapid fire question.
Yes.
Why Congress and why that race?
Why Congress and why that race? Well, I live there, so there's that. Congress, because there are changes that I want to see made, and I don't see people in D.C. making those changes. So it's got to be me that goes and does it. As the saying goes, if not now, when, and if not me, who? So I'm looking at all these people running for Congress, and they're not even on the issues that I'm talking about. You got a handful of people, and that's it. You got maybe a Thomas Massey, a Rand Paul. You used to have Ron Paul, and that's really about it. That's out there actually talking about the banking system and how it's jacking our country around. There's only a handful of people talking about ending the drug war. And some of them are Democrats, some of them are Republicans. There's only a handful of people, mostly Democrats, talking about ending the insider trading in Congress. There's just a few people out there that are doing it, and I see an issue. I want to go solve it, and that's why.
Rapid fire question, Brody. First of all, that's a fantastic answer. That was a
really
great.
well
Well, thank you.
When people ask me I'm like,
I got it.
I'm gonna lie down. Brody, rapid fire. Why that jacket today? Sick. Can you? I don't think you ever described that jacket.
It's a Ford racing jacket. It's a vintage one.
We love vintage on this show.
Shut up, vintage.
Shut up.
Vintage.
Where'd you get it?
Depop.
What's that?
It's a reselling app for
how much
clothes. It was $50. It was. I think 125.
Deal of the day.
Deal of the day. Right? Yeah.
So do you have anything else that's cool that like looks like, dude? That's so. Oh man, this reel is going viral. Man, that is a sick shirt. So, why do you like that style?
Why do I like it? It's vintage. I just like vintage.
Why do you like vintage? Why? What makes you want to?
There's rarity to it.
What makes it rare?
There's only a certain amount of these that were ever made.
How many?
I don't know.
All right,
they don't make it anymore, so I want it.
What is your guys' favorite? Like, everyone has obsessions. Some people's obsessions are, McDonald's, me. Some people's obsessions are, swimming. Shout out all the swimmers. Football. Shout out all the athletes. Some people's obsessions are politics. Shout out Steve. Shout out myself. Some people's obsessions are scrolling on Reels. Shout out all of you today.
Yes.
Or on YouTube also to all of you. But what are your guys' obsessions, or what make you obsessed? Not like in a horror movie. You might hear this and think like, "Yo, am I in a horror movie?" No, not in a horror, but like obsessed.
I'm obsessed with. Well, my obsessions are about my family. So taking care. I know. It sounds like a political answer, but it's not. Like everything I've done in my life was started out to provide for my daughter.
Right.
Then to provide for my wife and daughter.
That's huge.
Then to provide for my two daughters and my wife. Then to provide for my son, my two daughters, and my wife.
Yeah.
And now to provide for my third daughter that's coming, my son, my two daughters, and my wife. And all my obsessions are around that. So I find myself hyper-focused on politics because politics are going to affect currently, and they're going to affect the lives of my children, my wife, my grandchildren. And if shit keeps getting worse, guess what? All I'm doing is leaving a bigger mess for my grandkids. So that's why I'm obsessed with politics.
That's an amazing answer, man.
Dude, that was great.
For real.
I don't think I can put up with that.
I was expecting some joke like, I like toys, or I don't know what I was expecting. I was expecting something stupid.
Just because my studio is filled with video game shit doesn't mean that's all I think.
No, well, hold on. I'll tell you why I was.
There was years behind that answer. I didn't know what you were gonna say either. Years behind that answer.
Hey,
I had no idea about. That was
Shout out Steve's family for real.
No, for real.
Incredible person.
I think a lot of people need.
Brody, what is your obsession?
Oh, my obsession? Anything motorsports wise.
What is that?
Cars, racing, dirt bikes.
Why are you obsessed with those?
It was just something I was always interested in. Like I always found passion in it when I was younger. That's like something I would just like learn about.
When did you become hypnotized?
Dude, young age, probably like 7.
Was there ever a point where you became possessed?
No, I wouldn't say possessed. Maybe a little bit because I'm passionate about it, a little overly passionate. What?
Why do you think that it's an obsession, and do you think it's a good obsession? And are all obsessions good obsessions?
Not necessarily.
Actually, that bad question. That's
not good.
But is that a good obsession?
What if you're obsessed with drugs?
Yeah, no. Yeah. Don't do drugs, guys.
Don't do drugs.
I'm trying to think of funny.
Drugs are just bad, okay?
Yeah.
Drugs are bad.
Terrible,
drugs are
guys.
awful.
Do not do them.
For real, don't do drugs.
Wait, what was your question again?
Also, a lot of people don't say this and don't talk about this. Don't vape. There's a lot of kids. There's a lot of kids nowadays. People get sucked into vaping, and it's not good. It's not good. It's easy to fall into that trap.
Yeah, I haven't had nicotine in almost 3 years now.
All of the people in this room will encourage you not to vape.
I feel blessed in that manner, dude. I don't have an addictive personality, so I've never, I've tried it, but I don't care for it. So I feel very blessed in that sense. He's moving in the right direction.
It's for the audio, so then I can I know when to clip back in.
Yeah.
This rapid fire question is for Steve, and I'm going to keep jumping back to politics because that's what the people want answers to.
I'm sure
the people want to know. Steve, what makes you sleep at night?
What makes me sleep at night? Copious amounts of drugs.
Oh my god!
I'm just playing. You said a joke.
You just said you wanted to end the joke war. It's a joke. It's a joke,
It's
guys.
obviously a joke.
That was
No,
a joke.
What makes me sleep at night?
Melatonin.
Biology? Yeah, I don't know. I haven't had to think about
that
this
your
one.
kids are
Yeah,
safe.
no, I think that's an interesting
What makes
question.
me sleep at night? Yeah,
What makes you sleep at night? I have trouble sleeping. It's hard to
I don't know how to
go to
answer
sleep.
that question. That's a tough one.
know.
I don't think I have as deep an answer as you would expect on that one. It's just I go to sleep. Like I do whatever it is I'm going to do all day, and by the time my day is done, my brain cells are like burned out on all the things I've thought about, and I just fall asleep, and that's it. So like I don't really think about it. Like it's more like what wakes me up and what keeps me going during the day. That would be the better question.
I would expect a very good answer out of that, but I wanted to throw a curveball at you, but you still found a way to answer it well.
Oh, well, thank you.
Okay, so what makes you wake up in the morning? Or, no, not. That, why am I asking it like that?
Biology.
Like, what do you think about when you wake up in the morning? What makes you want to get out of bed in the morning? That's a better way to ask it.
Oh, what makes me want to get out of bed in the morning?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the simple answer is to go do stuff, but like the deeper answer is I got to go provide for my family. I need to get up and go do some shit. Like it's that simple. I need to get up and go provide for my family. How am I going to do that today? What am I going to do? So there'd be thoughts that go through my head. I am going to go do engineering today. Okay, we're doing that. Oh, my lunch break, I'm going to go play video games on my lunch break because TikTok and I make money doing it. Okay, I'm going to do that. Okay, I'm going to get home. I'm going to hang out with my kids. I'm going to try and make sure I put my phone away and don't screw around with that while I'm at home. Sweet, doing that. Okay, now I'm going to do this thing for TikTok to go make some money and do that. Okay, now I'm going to hang out with my wife and watch a show. Then I might do more TikTok stuff and then go to sleep. And then sprinkled throughout all that is, okay, I got to figure out what's going on in the news today so that I can make sure the podcast is growing and relevant so that way I will win when I run for office. And so that way I can build something that is more sustainable than just being in office because I don't want to be in Congress for a lifetime of politics. I want to be there for maybe 10 years and dip. Like, that's what I want to do. And it'd be nice to dip to a podcast that's super successful and provide for my family there too,
Yeah. Great answer, but
okay,
for real, it's hard to combat after great answers. For real, it's like usually I can follow up and keep going, but like he gives the full thing. So
you kind of got to sit there and think for a second.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm gonna jump back to the first thing you said. You said you want to provide for your family. You want to do things to provide for your family and do whatever you can. And I think that stems to having a purpose.
Yes,
and I can't express how important it is for all the viewers at home to not only have a purpose but find your purpose, because you might not have one, you might not think of one, but find one, because your life will turn around if you find a purpose. Yep. How has that navigation of finding a purpose been for you, and what is your purpose besides providing for your family right now? Because obviously both of our purpose, I want to do things and I want to act every day to provide for the citizens of West Michigan, provide for the citizens in Holland, Grand Haven, Holland, Grand Haven, Spring Lake, Zeeland, and Hudsonville, and a little bit of Jenison too. Those are the people that I want to do things for, and I want to impact, and I want to benefit their lives. That purpose motivates me in a way. So don't we think that like purpose motivates people to keep going,
definitely
keep fighting?
Yeah.
Throw that uppercut right after you went the jab to the guy who called you Stid F.
Stid fuck?
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Remember you beat him up?
Yeah, he hit him with that 1-2.
You hit him with that 1-2, just like you're not gonna.
I'm not going to hit anybody to win, but I got it. I was going
to bring up the incumbent. No, that's not.
I mean, the goal is.
Have we ever seen that at a debate?
The goal is.
What if Trump and Kamala just start
throwing hands?
The goal is, figuratively speaking, to absolutely beat her like a rented mule in a debate. That is the goal. I want to so thoroughly win in a debate against her that people are accusing me of woman beating. That is how bad I want to beat her.
God damn.
No.
All right, as producer Ted, we're gonna cut that.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Well, no, obviously that was a joke. That was a joke.
I did say figuratively speaking.
Figuratively, no. I wanted to ask another question and jump the topic here. Brody, I didn't ask you the question.
What was the question?
Purpose. Well, do you have a purpose in your life right now? And if you do, what is it? And if not, how do you go about finding one?
I think I'm still trying to find that. I feel like I had a purpose when I was swimming because, I was just committed to it my whole life. But now since I'm out of that, I'm trying to figure out what that is. I think part of that's entertainment. I really want to do entertainment.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I had 5 people text me after our podcast and say Brody is the funniest dude ever. Like they laughed at every time you talked. They were laughing their ass off.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you entertain people, bro.
Well, I
I'm telling you.
appreciate that.
There we go.
You do entertain
thank you.
people. Right,
Thank
right
you.
here.
Thank you. Well,
So-
I had to get better with like meeting new people, like all of them, and talking and asking questions.
Shout out Teddy. Shout out Sam. Shout out Steve.
Because I feel like when I'm in a position like this, I just like to listen, and I don't think about questions enough to ask. So I feel like I got to get better at that.
That's the same way with me. Where if this wasn't okay, I don't know. I feel you, bro. Like if this wasn't my garage, I would have a lot harder time talking in it.
Right.
Or I would, might not be myself. But what kind of so if that's a battle you fight where you sometimes like to stay
Quiet
and quiet and to yourself, how do you fight that? And how do you go outside of your comfort zone and take the risk and
that's a good question.
Take the leap of
'Cause
faith.
I'm not even sure I know right now what that is. I feel like just getting out and doing like something like this just helps with that.
Well, it seems like right now it's just one foot. Before you have the purpose, it's one foot in front of another, and you're just walking, and the path is whatever the path is, till something dilates your pupil, and that becomes the focus, and that's what you're going to do. For me, it was becoming a dad.
I love that. Dilates the pupil. Like I love that.
For Kevin, it's obviously wanting to run for office. Before that, it was starting the business that you started. For you, it could be whatever.
Oh, it's still that.
Maybe it's working on cars. Maybe it's building. Maybe it's building a race car. Maybe it's a podcast where that's what you do. Where you talk about that. There's a lot of stuff that can go into that.
Oh, stuff's coming?
Stuff's coming.
All right. Well, he is so talented, bro. You are actually so talented.
Well, I appreciate that.
And I think the viewers watching at home, they know that they're looking forward to some entertainment from Brody Mangini coming up soon.
Love that.
He is the co-host where it's kind of bad. Like I did a show with my aunt and nobody. I've introduced Cameron, Blake, and then Brody, but Brody's the only co-host show up to more than one episode. So Brody is the co-host of TUEBOR.
Let's go.
And Brody, what are your goals with this podcast? Because I know you're starting one of your own, and you might do something on your own, but with this one.
So with this, I think this is a great time to learn about politics because that's what you're focusing on. And I am not that knowledgeable on that. So I think even listening to him, just any of those takes and stuff, I can grow from that.
Yeah.
What do you experience from it? Like, what are you taking from it? And what questions do you have? Does it spark curiosity at all?
Well, I think that's what it is. It makes me think about questions like the devil's advocate for what he's saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Does it have anything to do with say you're going to school.
Mm-hmm.
Say you want to go to your classes.
Yeah.
Right? I was the kid. I wasn't a big talker in class.
No, I'm not.
I wasn't a big talker. I would just sit in the corner, sit by myself, and not talk the entire class.
I think part of that for me was I didn't want to be that pick-me kid,
Can you elaborate?
like, you know how there's the teachers' pets and stuff.
Hey, everybody, look at me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that person. I just kind of stayed to myself.
Nobody liked those kids.
No.
But hey, shout out those kids for real though. Like they didn't care. They didn't care. They were like they liked their teachers. That was the in some teachers. Some I liked
for some people that might
teachers it was
be
like that. For me, I think every teacher has a different pet. If that's a good way of saying it, I don't know if that was a good way of putting it, but every teacher, you know what I mean? Every teacher has a different pet. What kid were you like in high school, in class?
I was an asshole.
Well,
I talked a lot. I always liked making people laugh, even if I wasn't very good at it. So I would try to do that. Just kind of all over the place, a little bit of eclectic. I mean, my parents moved around a lot growing up, so it was like I was always finding new friends every time we moved, and I would go through cycles of new friends, not getting along with people, and then kind of like settling into these are my friends. This is the way the world is. This is how it works.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know if that answers the question. Yeah.
No, it was. I like just throwing curveball questions.
So yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, I mean, we moved a lot, so I had a very like kind of all over the place personality because I would go through cycles of friendships with people.
Yeah.
One thing that I had that was consistent through middle school and part of high school was my mother would put me in magnet programs, which is like it's kind of like school of choice here in Michigan, but not. There are programs that are very specific for a school. So like in middle school, it was math and science. And then in high school, it was Air Force ROTC. And so those subjects that I was studying very much shaped the kind of personality I had with people. So there was that. And then even when we moved to Michigan, West Ottawa was known for having a really great art and design program and having an okay hockey program.
Make them say, whoa. Shout out their hockey program.
Whoa.
Beautiful hockey program.
Beautiful now. They were not so beautiful when I was there. But
I'm sure they had beautiful people, though.
They did. Yes.
They had beautiful people.
And so, I played hockey. And, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'd call myself a pick-me, but I was definitely, like, loud and obnoxious a lot of times. And it would rub people the wrong way. But never malicious.
Would you say and this is like in no negative way, would you say like a spaz?
A little bit of a spaz, yeah.
Okay. What does a spaz mean?
Someone who's obnoxious.
Yeah, I could definitely be obnoxious.
Yeah.
Spaz in the UK? Well, good thing this isn't the UK.
Yeah.
Wait.
America.
America.
Yeah, no, for real.
Yo, shout out.
The Crown. I'm
shout
no fan
out.
of the Crown.
Shout out the United States of America. Shout out the United States of America,
right.
for real. We
Let's
live in
go.
the most beautiful country on planet Earth. And even when they go to Mars, they are not going to say that Mars is more beautiful than the United States of America.
No.
Make them say, whoa, make them say USA. Let's go.
Let's talk about America real quick, guys.
Let's do it.
This is my opinion on America. For 2,000 years, at least 2,000 years, the entire planet, more than that, I guess, probably 5,000-10,000 years, the entire planet was ruled by monarchies until Greece showed up and then Rome. And we saw the first republics. And then they fell. And then the entire planet, for the 1,500 years following that, was ruled by bloodlines and monarchies till America showed up. So some colonists sailed across that ocean and decided they wanted to rule their lives themselves. And then they lifted up a great big old middle finger to the royal families of the world, and America was founded. And literally everybody here fled a royal family. Everyone. Doesn't matter what skin color you are. Doesn't matter anything, with the exception of the Native Americans. They would be the one exception to the rule. Everybody else, we all fled monarchies. This is a republic we live in. And it's only going to be a republic as long as we allow it and as long as we stand for it to be that way. If we let the rest of the world tell us what to do, we're going to fall right back into bloodlines and feudalism again. It's just that simple.
If you guys are listening to Steve talk and you're getting mesmerized, trust me, we are too. He's someone you can just listen to, and if you want to check him out, his link is down below in the description. So after you subscribe to TUEBOR, please subscribe to TUEBOR and follow us on all social media.
Subscribe to TUEBOR, #1
his
podcast.
link and follow him on Rumble. Follow him on X. Look at his YouTube. Subscribe to his YouTube.
Insta. I have an Insta.
You
too.
got
Let's
Insta
go.
now? Let's go.
I have
Hey,
Insta.
shout out Mark
I have an
Zuckerberg.
Insta.
We love you. Shout out Meta. Shout out Facebook. Shout out Instagram.
Yeah.
We love you guys for real. I only use YouTube and Instagram. So Instagram is my social media. I only use Instagram.
Yep.
Shout out Instagram. I really do love you guys for real. And yeah. again, I love you, Instagram. Like literally just Instagram. So Instagram, I love you. Yeah, I'm screwed if Instagram does anything to me. But let me. Leave a comment down below. Leave a comment down below if you're watching this on Reels. If you're watching this
Dude,
on
anywhere,
YouTube, leave a comment down below. I really do appreciate it, and it means the world to me. It means the world to Brody. It means the world to Steve. Comment on his social media as well. But you know what? What? You know what, Brody?
What's going on?
You know what the most memorable thing I think from this show was?
What?
It was Steve Stidham announcing his candidacy for U.S. Congress in the year 2026. Shout out, Steve.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
First of all, congratulations, and I am so excited to experience and watch your candidacy as it goes along. Is there anything else that you want to tell the viewers or you want to say to everyone watching at home in West Michigan?
Yeah. If you guys want to know why you should vote for me, I strongly encourage you. Tune into my podcast. It's every Monday. It's at 7 p.m. You want to see what I think about things and catch me in candid moments where you're getting a genuine impression of me in a live, like Kevin said, a live situation. Tune in. Check it out. Worst case scenario, you're going to say that jackass. Best case scenario, you're going to be like, dude, no. I can't wait to vote for you. We're going to make America awesome. Let's go. Like it's literally that simple.
Make America awesome again.
Yeah. Well,
wait. Ma. Make America. When he runs for president in 2050.
I will never run for president. I have no ambition to run for president.
We also had an announcement. I'm running for president in 2050.
There you go.
You guys remember that? No, I think Brody. What else do you got to say to the viewers? They didn't get to hear on episode 3. This dude was like, oh, he was.
But that was different though. We had some.
He was like, yo, I just got a girlfriend.
No, I didn't say that.
He was like, yo, where the shorties
back and forth
at?
Though we had the bros, and we're just chatting.
We got the bros and the girls.
Let's go.
What is the same? It's like bros. Well, because girls would be boys.
Hoes.
It'd be boys and girls. What is like the bros version of girls? Gals? Would it be gals? Because like the boys. We're boys or we're men. Girls are girls or women. It's bros or it's gal or is it? What is it like? Sis? No, I don't think it's sis. That sound.
Well, it doesn't sound good.
What is it, Brody? What is it? What is it, Brody?
Dude, I don't know. I think just the girls. Like, I don't know.
What do you got to say to the girls watching at home?
Like and subscribe.
That's great, right there.
You know what I mean? Just
for real. I really do appreciate it. We don't have many subscribers, but I'm okay with it. You know what? I'm okay with it.
You got to start small.
Bro, you've got the best subscribers. What are you talking about?
Don't be afraid.
You got the best subscribers.
Bro, you got
the best subscribers. What are you talking about?
No. We have the absolute most. Actually, there was a vote.
I know.
Did you hear about this vote?
I voted on it. You've got the best subscribers. I voted.
No, it wasn't this.
Oh.
There was a vote, though.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the vote?
Yeah, I think I saw it.
It was the vote. We at TUEBOR have the most beautiful subscribers on planet Earth. So shout out all of your beauty. If you're looking at yourself right now or you're looking at the screen, turn the screen around, look at yourself and be like, yo, I am hot today. Shout out you. For real.
What's cool about
shout out all the viewers at home. I love you guys. We love you guys. And we talked about mental health today. I want to say this before we end.
Yeah.
I really do want to reiterate. I can't talk. Reiterate that you can do anything, and you can do anything you put your mind to, and you can for real change the world. If you want to change the world, you can do it. And if anyone tells you you can't do it, remember Kevin said that you can do it. You can change the world. And yeah, I think that's the last message I wanted to say. Is there anything else you guys want to say before we're out of here?
Social media is a way to expand the community. You're a part of the TUEBOR community. You're a part of the lo-fi community. Hit the follow button, hit subscribe, whichever platform you're on, smash the like, hit comment, and get involved in the community. Tell us what you think about things. Kevin wants to represent as a state senator. I want to represent as a congressman. I can't represent if you don't tell me where I'm doing awesome and where I'm screwing up. That communication's vital. Drop a comment. Tell us what you guys think.
For real. Low key, I could have just ended it there, but my ego needs to be like cut.
That's okay.
Or something.
It's your show, man.
Yeah, ego's an interesting thing, isn't it? I have an ego for sure. I think we all have egos.
Everyone has an ego.
Everyone has an ego,
whether it's small or big.
Exactly, or whether you use it to your advantage or not. You guys, if you have an ego, don't be afraid to hide it, because everyone has an ego. It's just the reality of life. But let's see. Look at the last line. Thank you for watching the #1 show in the world. Thank you guys. Comment, like, subscribe, follow, and check out Steve.
Check him
down
out
below.
Thank you.
He's doing great things.
What social medias did we link to?
So I'm on Rumble. Rumble, X, and YouTube are the main platforms we're doing video work on. X is the one where we're doing the most. But check us out there. I got an Instagram now, so you can find me on there. There is a Facebook page for the Lo-Fi Political Guy. You can always find me in any of those places. If you just type into the old Googles, the Lo-Fi Political Guy, I'm going to show up because I'm the only one going by that handle.
Let's go.
Because I'm the best at it.
Let's go.
Click it, check it out, follow me, and let's make the world a little bit better place. That's all we can do, right?
He is the best. He is the host, and we are TUEBOR. Thank you for watching.
Let's go.
Cut.
All right.
Let's go.
And then, what do you got going on the 30th?